I was at a Meta event 45 days ago. I realized that the buzzword in that conference was UGC, or Creatives for Performance Marketing. What is the origin story of UGC creators? I know UGC was a term in social media for the longest time, which is user-generated content. When did UGC ads become a thing?
Every performance marketer jumped on that bandwagon. They were like, okay, let's create these fake testimonials.
So it's manufactured UGC.
I would say it's AGC. It's actor generated content.
What's the difference? Why is one working and why is one not working?
It's a very AK-47 approach now. World has moved from sniper approach to AK-47. You make a lot of content and one of them hits.
So Gen Z needs someone who looks like them, who talks like them, who creates content like them. So now it is you have to become more of an approachable brand than becoming like a godly brand.
AI will not limit you to be just human face.
You can be anyone.
Yeah.
You can be
So Ajadu can also be an influencer.
Yeah.
Danji Chudel.
They will. Churel might actually become.
You can create AI UGC videos.
You can clone a creator as well.
You can clone a creator with HeyGen and all that stuff. What if we created like Balika, Vadhu, Bird and Vertical?
Have you seen auto rickshaws in Bangalore?
Yeah.
Watch a behavior. Every time they are driving, it's on reels. It's on
Dude,
reels.
it's crazy, yeah.
They are not rotating.
I think this thumb flick up was what TikTok discovered. That was the thing that killed our generation.
I was at a Meta event about 45 days ago. I was there to basically just talk about the state of the industry and just give my thoughts on where it's going and other things on those lines. And then I realized that the buzzword in that conference was UGC, or Creatives for Performance Marketing. And then I wondered, okay, that to be very honest, I think that's the first moment where beyond or outside the circle of just pure marketers and agencies where I felt, okay, this thing is happening. And I thought, why not? Let's sit and probably do a quick chat with the only people I know who are pioneers of sorts in this
guy.
field. Yeah.
Oh,
This guy.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's not give him all the credit.
The scroll stopper.
Sleep so good at that.
And the best part is, I think all of you all have been on the podcast before, so I think I'm assuming the audience probably know who you guys are and what you do. Is there any update that you want to share from the last time you were here to now about anything that you guys are doing? If not, then we can just get started.
Nothing. I think one thing changed for me. For me as a business, I'm still exploring that. I have stopped locking ideas that, okay, for me to stop a scroll, I need to just do UGC videos, or I need to just do performance for D2C. I'm not trying to put confinements, because what I'm noticing is statics are back, images are working. So suddenly I had to hire a graphic design team to start building that, because my allegiance is not with the format. My allegiance is only with the delivery or the output or the result. CAC should go down. If catalogs are working, I will do catalogs. If UGC are working, I will do UGC. So that thought has changed. I am not confining to a format.
Got it. Great. So I think I'll just dive into my first question, and then whoever wants to take it can take this, which is, what is the origin story of UGC creatives? I know UGC was a term in social media for the longest time, which is user-generated content. When did UGC ads become a thing? What's the origin story there?
I think we're using the wrong word, na? UGC. Technically, it should be crowdsourced.
Ideally, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so I think UGC, to your question, I think like what happened on a performance level, like you said, organic wise, always when the customer did a video, it was genuine, authentic testimonial, right? So that always worked. What people realize, I think it's because of TikTok a lot as well, because people organically started like showing the product on camera. I love this, and they started getting sales. So then every performance marketer jumped on that bandwagon. They were like, okay, let's create these fake testimonials.
So it's manufactured UGC.
It is manufactured use. Like I would say it's AGC. It's actor generated content.
That's a nice one.
Yeah.
First time I heard about UGC, or maybe it was not called UGCs back then. So when we were working for MamaEarth, I read this case study of a bedsheet brand.
Which year is this?
I think it's 17.
17. So
18.
those time UGC used to be there in social media.
No, so they were the first one to bring non-aesthetic creatives. They hired people, or they got people who were clicking the photos, and they said, give us the photos, we'll advertise on it. And they got like people using the bed sheets in their rooms and all that, and they started advertising, and their ROS doubled. Right?
Yeah.
And then we also tested it. We never called it UGCs on MamaEarth, and it worked for us. So that was the first time I heard about UGCs, or this kind of content where you can use users' content too.
This is 2017.
18.
Yeah.
But
18, 19.
Was this a trend then, or was it more of like one type of creative that you saw and then you maybe put that into your media mix?
I think it was the origin.
I think that's when it started, you could say, yeah. Because ultimately, I think marketers, like when they see something works, everybody runs to it, right? So I think, like you said, in 2018, when they started seeing that this was working well, where call it ugly ads were working better than this high production content, then everybody started jumping down into it. So yeah.
But where did this first, what geography was this first discovered in? That
This was
ugly
US.
ads work?
I
This
think
was
it's in the US, yeah.
It
Even
came
I
from US,
mentioned
no?
the
Mostly.
yeah.
Most
West.
Yeah.
Everything comes from the West.
Everything comes from the West. Yeah.
Right. So,
Yeah.
when did you first see it become mainstream in India, in Indian advertising or among Indian brands for that matter?
I think fashion took off first. I saw fashion first. Like
Yeah.
Fredo came on later, to be honest.
Fredo, I think, was in 2020.
2020-ish or
2020. I mean,
22.
2020 they started. 2021 is when they started going heavy into UGC and stuff. Yeah.
But fashion have been doing like fashion. Mein what was happening? These guys were doing micro influencer marketing and just boosting it practically.
Yeah.
There was no paid collaboration.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then people started saying, okay, it is working. Then technicalities started kicking in. Okay, you give me the video file, I will start uploading it. But
Yeah.
essentially, I have like my first interaction was fashion.
Fashion. Yeah.
Yeah. It was very image first. It was not
Yeah, yeah.
video content, right? Like you will get image content from other sources. People will tag your photos and you will just take that up and
Yeah.
start running ads on it, and it worked for it. Recently, last 2-3 years, videos were
Videos, yeah. I think
last
especially
2-3
because
years.
Reels came out in India, right?
Yeah.
So all the attention and impressions is on Reels. Then statics is like,
Yeah.
it's an instant skip when it comes to Reels, right? I think, when did Reels launch in India?
when did it,
2019,
when did TikTok get banned?
2019, 2020.
TikTok?
2020.
20. So
2020
that's when
TikTok
Reels
was banned.
became.
That's
Yeah,
when Reels
yeah.
became.
So all the attention went to Reels, and then I think that's when video also became way more popular.
Yeah.
So then brands who didn't do video, they were losing like significant impressions because everybody was on Reels, right? So yeah.
And also, agencies started bombarding it. Matlab, it was
Yeah.
never prioritized.
Yeah.
This manufactured UGC was not prioritized.
Yeah.
Brands used to do it. Like brand manager
Themselves.
will call the customer and will say, "Ki, okay, make a video and send it to me," and then
Yeah.
they used to run the ad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the.
Yeah, that was
That
the trend
was the
actually.
way,
That was the way, yeah.
That was
So
the
that
way.
time it was authentic. It was a real testimonial
Yeah,
review.
yeah. Coming
but
from
then
a
they're like, we
sales-
can manufacture this. Wow, let's do that.
Yeah.
Because
So 2022 is that the start of the trend properly?
We can say that.
When did
Yeah.
you start?
The keyword at
2022,
least.
yeah.
got-
Yeah, this guy.
He created this trend.
we started.
Yeah, I
So
think
we
you
started
were
in
one of the
September
early
22,
ones,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we were probably I mean, there was like an agency I can remember before us in this space.
How did
That's
you
it.
get this inspiration from? Like where?
So I used to work on some TikTok ads abroad. So when I worked with, so I used to kind of like white table for some agencies there. So over there, when I spoke to the performance guys, they only talk I'm creative. And I'm like, dude, in India, like they'll show this crazy sheet with the reports and Excel sheets and all that stuff. But I'm like, you're only talking about creative. Hey, what message, what hook, what angle you're testing. That's when I was like, oh shit, like this makes total sense. And nobody in India is doing this. And even when I was doing performance, I used to focus a lot on the creative because honestly, I enjoyed copywriting way more than the data part. So then I was like, hey, this makes sense. So that's why I pivoted fully from performance to creative. So in 2022 September is when we started Scroll Stop, yeah.
But
I'm like, let's sell it as a service.
you must have seen something that triggered it in India, right?
Honestly, my hunch was very simple. I saw it work in the US. I saw how everybody in the US only spoke about that. So I could feel like US, I feel like is 1 or 2 years ahead of us. So I knew the puck was going there anyway. So I'm like, we might as well build for it in India now. So even when I was selling it initially, I had to sell this concept to the client, meaning my sales calls were educating. This is what a UGC is. This is why I think it'll work well.
Were you using UGC as a term then?
I was using UGC as a term, yeah. So see, for me, the thing is UGC is this fancy word. It's just a video ad.
Yeah.
I think video
It's
ads
just
have
a
always
video
been
ad.
relevant anyway. Like, be it UGC, this trend of the girl talking to the camera type
Yeah.
is typically what we call UGC. But in 2022, it was, dude, explain to the client, this is what UGC is. This is why I think it'll work. Then you should test more, you should do that stuff. Then my convincing pitch was I would show ad libraries of brands in US. And they were, dude, you're right, they're testing so much, I should also do it. So initially it was very early adopters, like Fredo, who like Fredo, I'll give you an example. They were so convinced this works, they were going to agencies abroad. They were like, we're happy to pay for it in dollars to run ads in India. They were that convinced. If you look at a brand like Setu in India, they still do that today,
Yeah.
which is quite crazy. So they all started on the 2022 time and then it was working, yeah.
That's very interesting, right? What gave Fredo this insight? That the fact that this works and then they're willing to go abroad, pay a premium for it?
So I think with Fredo, one is like with like say like Ganesh, Tushar and all who the main team up top. One is they're hardcore performance DNA people. They understand performance mart in and out, right? When I spoke to them and stuff, it was very clear like they didn't need the sales pitch. Why? Is because they understood that like the media buying side is becoming easier and easier. They're like everything is on Advantage Plus, it's on CBOs and all, at least maybe back then. It's like heavily automated. If I find a winning creative, that's when I get results. So their entire job was like, I need to find winning ads faster and better. So that's when they realized we have to invest into creative. And I think speaking to them also, even they see the trends in US a lot, in D2C over there. So they were like, we have to like start doing that in India as well.
Back then also WoW was doing it with people outside.
Right.
WoW
Yeah.
was big on UGC content.
But do you think WoW was doing it because of the skincare brand and like you said, fashion skincare, they typically tend to get a lot of testimonial based content, right? It's style.
Yeah.
And they were using it in organic anyway. So did they just start promoting it? Because world has changed a lot from then to now. When your process, when you talk about it, you write for the purpose of hooks, right?
Big an ad,
Right.
right.
It's very different from than just being a testimonial, because I think version 1 of testimonial was, oh, hey, I used this product, it felt great, and blah, blah, blah. That's it. And then the performance marketer did whatever he wanted to do with that content. There was no engineering of content. So somewhere that changed, that shift came in at some place. And then, so 2022 is the first.
I would say 2022 maybe started picking up in India. I think the brands, when a lot of brands got early, like a Fredo, like a Setu, and they rode that wave. Like they still make a lot of money with UGCs and stuff like that. So then I think once other brands started seeing it, then everybody wanted in on it. So then 23 is when it's like blasted, and 24 is also when it became
Like
probably already saturated. But
Yeah, but every year some
I
or the
think it's
other
become
trend comes up,
synonym.
right?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Please, go ahead. I think it's become synonym to performance creative now. Like
Performance
you do performance
creative,
creative,
yeah,
you do
yeah.
UGC. It's
Correct,
that
yeah.
become that big now.
Right.
Yeah.
So there is a slightly different tangential thing in this, that right now what we are calling it UGC, it's technically a vertical video.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Basically, any vertical looking video with an actor you show to the brand, there is no differentiation of how do you define ki, okay, this is not an UGC and this is a UGC.
UGC, yeah.
It just has to qualify 3 parameters. It should be low produced, should look like an organic reel, should have the transitions that is used in a reel, and then you just qualify it. The challenge there is it's not just one thing that has come to the trend. Like right now, there is this VFX thing that keeps on going on. That brand will come, then there will be people looking for the 3D. What do you call it? Those VFX.
I know what you're talking about. Like from a shopping bag. It'll come from the
Exactly.
Yeah.
2019 mein there used to be 3D ads on 3D static ads. You just give a material design drop shadow effect. It will just looks poppy.
Yeah.
So technically, it's every year some trend has to come up.
Comes up like that. Yeah, correct.
Now when UGC becomes normalized, someone else will
A new
become
trend will pick up for sure.
I think
yeah.
the next trend is creator led.
Yeah.
It's again UGC in a way.
Yeah.
But creators are gonna make everything.
Right now they are doing, I think a
it's
format will be different. I think the format will come up.
So this is interesting, right? So what's the difference between a creator-led ad communication versus a UGC? What's
Same
the
only.
difference?
Nothing.
It's
same only.
not really different.
Really? Creator-led like video for performance only?
Video for performance. I mean,
Okay.
you can still categorize it under UGCs, but that's the new trend under UGC, right?
Yeah.
See, the script will still be the same. Like I got this XYZ yesterday and I love this any which ways. That is a creator led with a UGC.
Yeah.
In UGC, you have to say I format, right? Like I used it and all.
Yeah. But I mean, I'll tell you, like, at least for us, so we have a lot of our clients who do creator-led ads also. One difference when we create an ad is not just more of like I got this, I love it, game changer. It's more like there's a lot of effort into the direct response side of things. Where we're trying to understand the inside, what's wrong with the customer, and then bring out a story of why that happens, right? The thing is, when you work with a creator, they will just want to create their own version of what they think makes sense.
So
And
is
I
that
think
the
that's
only
the good
difference?
thing.
Is that the difference in terms of nomenclature?
To me, I think a lot of the difference is where the creator will add their own sauce to the video, which is good. That's what makes it very differentiated and unique. Right? They will have their own style of, let's say, editing, visuals, and script storytelling and all, which is different from the standard, let's call it the UGC video.
Yeah. Like there is no science to it. You give some direction to the creator and they figure out most of the things.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if there's a formula to this, right? As a not just between for what creator to do use, but for UGC as a concept, is there a way to say a creator works better versus on, let's say, a non-creator, someone who's probably not famous an actor, the term you used, right?
Yeah.
Do we have enough data today to suggest that one works better over the other?
You mean like someone known versus non-known?
Yeah.
I mean, in accounts for us, in our case, we've seen like it's honestly, there's no like a source of truth yet, where some brands UGC still work well without known faces. Some have known faces and still the UGCs work well as well. So they've had, let's say, like big actors and all of that stuff. Still the UGC outperforms that video.
Yeah, I feel top 1% will always outperform top 1% creators because their brand value is super high. But when you go to bottom 99, then I don't think the differentiator will be a lot.
So I have tested both of the things, and here is what I've learned and understood is when your AOV goes up, if it's a 5,000 AOV, 10,000 AOV, you need to justify that premiumness with something. So you might have a creator. So let's say, for example, 50,000 AOV I'm selling. It will, and I have done this A/B testing where I just got normal creator versus whitelisted larger influencer. A larger influencer does justice because there you have to justify the price.
Yeah.
In a case like commoditized product, let's say, which is driven by a problem statement, like Fredo is driven by a problem statement. This portable fan is driven by a problem statement. There you don't need
a big creator.
You don't need a big creator.
Correct.
Because it is just okay, talk about the price, talk about the problem statement, talk about the right, do the right research,
the use cases,
cases,
correct.
and things are done. So it depends, and here is where the difference is. Like the marketer needs to understand nuances of AOV kya hai, market kya hai, is the market in tier 2, tier 3. A lot of things becomes different when you move out of tier 1.
Yeah.
So that's the thing as well. Like for an example, again, if I have to sell biscuits, for example, I want to, it will not work.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah.
You think it will not work?
It will not work. It will not work. When you have to sell a 5 rupees biscuit, 10 rupees biscuit, biscuit behavior, you won't buy it on online, right? Like Amul recently launched.
You are buying it online, right?
Blinkit, yeah.
And you don't buy it from an ad. You need high frequency ads to keep on like
Repetition basically, yeah.
repetition basically. And recall, like high value recall.
High value recall.
You will never buy on that. Like an example is Amul recently started the wave of proteins. I don't know if you're tracking and all.
Yeah.
So I just bought Amul buttermilk.
Yeah.
If you have to sell an Amul buttermilk, what you will do?
But the recall can also be generated through maybe not UGCs, but more creator-led content.
You have to do full funnel for sure.
Yeah. But you can even do the UGC, why not?
Will be one part of the funnel.
It'll just be a part of the funnel.
Oh yeah. They don't see the ad and go and buy.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's more for brand building.
Correct.
But it can be creator-led.
So, okay, so does that mean there are categories for which it works better and then there are categories it doesn't?
Yeah.
If you want to make a direct
100%.
response, then high ticket. but
Excellent direct
yeah.
response.
Like you want action right away.
You want action right away. 100%.
Yeah. 100%.
So for that it works.
Yeah.
Also platforms. Like these things will change if you are running a Google ad.
Yeah.
I've noticed this. The whole game changes if you're doing a Google ad. I don't see a pattern on PMAX campaigns. Unfortunately, I have not been able to find a pattern. Same category creator working large influencer not working on Meta. Same category
Works on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah, and there is no direct correlation to be drawn, but it's platform dependency as well.
Right. Yeah. Makes
Fair.
sense.
Yeah. That depends on how we consume content.
It depends on how you consume content.
Right. So on top of your head, if you can name 5 categories where it really works, and out of your experience, 5 categories it does not work. I'm assuming FMCG is one where it doesn't.
And higher AOV, premium brands, selling a automotive car. Anytime you go a higher AOV more
you
than
think car it wouldn't because
you won't do a creator. You will do a
specialist.
Specialist,
Someone who's
exactly.
You want a more specialized review, like you'll go to like a YouTube channel. They'll do a proper review stuff. Yeah.
Right, but I'm thinking if, for example, specs of a vehicle typically are already predefined, right? And then in an era where you don't really trust your traditional reviewers because you often think they're hand in glove with the brand, and then that trust inherently is low. You might think, sure, that you might have 1 or 2 individual creators who are there. There are plenty of YouTube channels for that matter who review bikes and cars.
Yeah.
And I actually did that last year when I was trying to buy a bike. I didn't go to Autocar or Bike Wale or whatever equivalents are there. I was trying to find these small YouTubers, you know,
who are giving reviews.
Yeah, who are giving reviews, who are giving practical things like brake mara to ruka ki nahi, like, you know, stuff like that, basic things, right?
You will consider that a user generated
So
content,
it's
right?
not. I think it's it is user generated content from a standpoint that it is customer feedback or testimonial or review or whatever that may be.
Yeah.
But don't you think there's an opportunity there for something like that to?
100%.
That is, yeah. So that's almost like you said, that's your consultation stage of the funnel, right?
Yeah.
When you're searching for stuff online, even I like search by video now. Like I go to YouTube and I like Google search on YouTube basically, right? And I'll watch like shorts like this really fast to get information. Like even if it's like a power bank or something, like in 10 minutes I'll watch some 10 videos and I'll be like, cool. I'll watch shorts. And different people will do it. And like you said, I'll go to the smaller people. Like I don't want the tech burner with millions of subscribers to tell, because I feel like he'll be biased.
How will you find shorts?
You can search and shorts also come up.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It comes up on the feed now, and they keep pushing it higher and higher. So
I'll just expand that particular point. What Vidhu is building is practically vertical video business for Meta. If I have to define it in a very smaller way, if I had to, like right now, what we are exploring is YouTube and Google Ads is the most undertapped market because everyone is running after Meta Ads.
Yeah.
Every Tom, Dick, Harry performance marketer right after college is starting performance Meta Ads. Creatives are built on performance on Meta Ads and everything. If I legit had to do YouTube, you go to a vidIQ, do anything, you will find your search volume of the content. Exactly what he said.
yeah.
Let's say the search volume is so I got recently a bike, let's say TVS Ronin. You know it very well. The user buyer journey mein user will go to YouTube and will type.
Exactly.
Simple. If I as TVS Ronin is not manufacturing all the FAQs in a video and pump it in with only one ideology that I will be owning the market share of that particular keyword volume.
Exactly. Yeah.
Then I'm not doing the right thing. So that is UGC for me. And that is the strategy.
It is, yeah. For YouTube again, yeah. I think the thing is UGC, there's also UGC ad, right? When you're only running for performance on Meta and all.
Correct.
There the thing is you're looking at purely like ROI and sales.
Yeah.
Like that's
but
the
I think
metric
this
there.
trend will come up. So Meta has AI search right now.
Yeah.
If you go and type in English Peetal ka bartan, Peetal ka reel will come up.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
The brand. If tomorrow this search behavior picks up, this behavior will start picking up on
correct,
as well. That there is a separate business you can build only on pumping keywords on reels.
This thing. Yeah. Dude, like apparently there was an insight where in Gen Z searches on TikTok, they don't search on Google also. So like they are actually, it makes sense, right? Like if I want to see pubs to eat in Indira Nagar, I would rather check a reel about it and see 10 reels. And that works for Meta AI already, by the way. Like they'll show you like I went to 10 pubs, here's the best one.
So that is a new search, huh?
That is search.
That is a new search.
So I would rather do that honestly than this thing, like say Google search, or I use ChatGPT otherwise. I do these both already like right now, actively.
Interesting.
Because I want to see the pub, I don't want to read about the pub, right?
Fair.
Yeah.
Like I want to see the ambience.
Look and feel.
Yeah, and they'll show the food. You'll just get the vibe looks like this. Cool, makes sense.
Right.
So,
So coming back to my question on this, are there 5 categories where it really works?
I think so. UGC as an ad thing works in products which are hardcore problem statement products. Like that's where direct response shines the most, right? Like Fredo is a great product for that because like every problem is made because every product has a problem statement. Like you have the pillow, it's because there's neck pain, there's back pain, spondylitis, scoliosis, all these problem statements are there. So I think that's really good in that kind of category to work well. And their AOV is also like less than 2.5k types. So it's fine. That category is good, yeah. I think skincare it's like used and abused.
Yeah.
UGC, it's
I think skincare is where it all started.
skincare
Like,
is where it
very-
started, yeah. So I think skincare because anyway, I think a lot of girls
easier
would
to-
watch other girls, let's say, what are they using? Cool, let me use that also, right? But UGC ads in skincare is, I mean, I think there are a lot of brands who blame UGC didn't work well.
Yeah.
To be very honest, I don't think the brand has anything unique for it to even work in general. Like, what will the UGC ads say different about your vitamin C serum? If I go to Amazon, search vitamin C serum, there'll be 10 pages of it, right? So there's nothing unique which they have formulation wise and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't think many marketers have like done anything to change that. They're like, let's just do UGC. Right? Like talking about it's not going to make sense, but yeah.
Anything else? Any other category we can think of?
Tech, well, anything that is problem based. So tech it works, fashion works, cosmetics works, beauty works.
I see a lot of videos in real estate also. Like
Real
estate,
works.
yeah.
real estate will be
works.
really big.
Lead generation, B2B SaaS is working. Interestingly,
Really?
Yeah,
I personally promoted to B2B SaaS WhatsApp automations, I was surprised they got 10 leads out of it and a very, very high ticket.
Interesting.
But there the thing is slightly different. It is not manufactured UGC. It is the designation. It is leveraging my past and designations, or like for an example, if I
The
have to
script
do,
is different.
If I have to promote a Razor Pay, it can be manufactured. It has to be okay. Microsoft India promotes, endorse Razor Pay. So yeah, it's high value creator, whatever it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I think it's the limit is nowhere, but
In fact, that's a good business to build. Matlab, B2B SaaS, no one is touching. They
Remember
wanted-
Deepan was saying?
Deepan,
He said also same thing.
Yeah. He in fact told me
Old guest,
this about 2.5, almost 3 years ago now. When I met him, he said, "This is the place to double down on."
Yeah.
B2B SaaS UGC works well, is what he was saying.
Okay.
Like he was saying that like even for them this UGC content works better as opposed to like this very high polished content and stuff.
Got it.
High polish are not working anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere.
But even something like crazy like say imagine a tool like Salesforce doing UGC would be crazy to think about. Because these are like proper enterprise.
No, but there it's different. The user you are talking to is a 45 plus.
Yeah.
You just by design, Salesforce has a certain thought. You can't suddenly adapt a low production.
Yeah.
A new entrant might
Can do
disrupt.
it. Yeah. Right.
Right. So between a polished and unpolished, what's the difference? Why is one working and why is one not working? Is it the process thing? Is it a process of how you make these ads, or is it more of a consumer psychology or consumer habit shift? Or is it that marketers have ruined ads, so now we need to make things look not like ads?
Marketers doing ads every time.
All marketers ruin everything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I feel
And agencies help them.
it's a
enabling
very AK-47 approach now. Like world has moved from sniper approach to AK-47. You make a lot of content, and one of them hits, right?
Yeah.
It is right now, or it used to be before?
Right now.
So is this
Earlier you will spend time making very good looking ad, aesthetically pleasing, great script and everything else, and you will hit it. Now it's opposite. You aim a direction and you make a lot of content really, really fast with low tats, and one of them hits.
So
Right.
is it centric? You mean from a performance marketing lens, or is
from
it
a
just marketing in general?
Just marketing.
I think
Even
for both, organic and even performance as well is similar. I think because the ability to create content is easier now than it was earlier as well, right? Like to be honest, today iPhones are good enough. You can just pick up the front camera, record and shoot it, right? So everybody can create content faster, but like you said, like volume negates luck. Like even for us internally, we tell that to all of our clients as well. The reality is that I couldn't give you, let's say, 5 ads of performance, or I can give you 50. You will get more winners with 50, just by like honestly brute force in the system. That's it. Because there is no like perfect thesis and all that stuff.
yeah, it's a speed. It's
Right.
speed.
So-
How fast you can create content today.
Got it. So I think volume is one of the things. You don't know anymore what works.
Yeah.
So you need to create a lot of many to
Yeah.
see what's working.
Yeah.
So that's one hypothesis, right?
Yeah.
What else could it be?
So, in short summary, how world has changed is previously we used to do 10 crore mein 3 ads, increase the ad frequency, and things will work. This is the earlier HUL, PNGs, zamane wala style. Now you decrease the production budget, you increase the volume, and you do not increase the frequency after 3. Because the platform's meta forces you that, okay, the moment you start increasing, the CPMs go out of the roof and the CACs go out of the roof. So number one is it's how the platforms are behaving. Number two is mainly how the Gen Zs are behaving. Boomers used to look and get a feeling of brand ads in a different way. I need a Salman Khan to sell a thumbs up. Gen Z is behaving in a very, very different way. The new term has come up right now, na?
Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha, Gen Beta.
Gen Beta is there.
Gen Beta is there.
This year onwards is Gen Beta.
Yeah. So Gen Z needs someone who looks like them, who talks like them, who creates content like them.
Yeah.
So now it is you have to become more of an approachable brand than becoming like a godly brand. Pehle godly used to be the brand book. Ki okay, I am the god figure and all.
Yeah.
So that has massively changed. And specifically this reel. This is only applicable, all of the conversions, only for that particular tab. Nothing else.
But that is a new behavior now.
That is a new behavior.
Yeah,
That
Even
is only the new behavior.
TikTok is now testing 3-minute episodes.
Videos,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now Netflix will shrink into 3 minutes content eventually.
There was something before also, right? I remember watching something on YouTube. Someone did take a shot about doing one. Was it Marvel? Marvel has that one shot.
They
There's a
have
series called the Marvel One Shot, right?
I don't know.
Yeah. So I think these are, if I'm not wrong, they're 1 minute or a little longer. I don't know.
they have a lot of content on Hotstar which are small, but I don't know.
Yeah, so these are
5
there on
minutes or
YouTube. For
less,
example,
yeah.
Iron Man 3, if you guys have watched, there's a character, Ben Kingsley. He plays, I think, Mandarin, right? So there's a scene, it's, I think, like a post credit of what happens to Mandarin in the prison.
Yeah.
So
I
real
remember-
Mandarin comes from something like that it is.
I remember doing a series, in fact, for the first time when I was with Dice Media, Cadbury's. So IGTV has just came to India. So so we had a relationship with the Facebook US team, and we used to get reports before कि ये launch होने वाला है, वो launch होने वाला है. That's the relation the publishers have. So back in those days, I remember 1 minute web series no one has attempted. So there is something you have a cliffhanger style writing web series, right? So we pitched 22 episodes web series called Force. So first episode is First Kiss, second episode is First Touch. So it is about two couples in a college and relatable college ka pehla pyar basically. Did phenomenally well. But that was my first moment also to think that okay, 1 minute
Content.
IPs can be built.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know anyone has attempted after that. Like I'm out of touch from the content, but it was a very hit series.
Interesting.
But I think vertical is also becoming bigger thing. Like
Yeah.
Earlier, like I don't know if you guys see, like on YouTube, they're streaming now for gaming.
Yeah.
People just stream on vertical now. So like they put themselves on top and then the game is below.
Yeah.
That makes sense to be horizontal also. I don't see why.
Yeah.
But even that's become vertical now.
Yeah.
Then I'm just like, dude, that's crazy. Yeah.
That's a behavior. Yeah.
Any creator you know on Instagram who is making vlogs? So you know Saurav Joshi, right? Saurav Joshi vlogs. No. So vlogs have an idea like today's episode ka cliffhanger will be what will happen in the next episode.
Yeah.
Any creator who is doing on reels, you know,
Yeah.
a series
There
thing,
are a
Matlab,
lot.
people are just coming to reel to watch what happens.
Yes. And this is quite big in tier 2, tier 3.
In
Very
India.
big and getting millions of shares. Right? Like they show like two lovers come together and then they don't get together.
Oh, yeah.
So what will happen in next one? Right? So go and see.
Because a good brand property can be created out of it.
Yeah, it can.
A damn good IP can be created out
What
of
if
it.
we created like Balika Vadhu but in vertical?
Everything can be recreated. Basically.
Yeah, we'll recreate, but for vertical.
But
content.
why Balika Vadhu
I
was
mean-
the first thing that
I
is
mean,
executed?
Tell us, Lord Vidhu.
Oh, it's my favorite show. No, but you could make it for vertical, yeah.
That's what you want, Balika.
That's what Balika Vidhu.
That's the thumbnail.
Balak Vidhu.
That's it.
Balika Vidhu.
That's the thumbnail.
I'm open to suggestions.
Shit, I have to change the name from Lord Vidhu.
Balika, wow. But I think I've seen also like there have some like I think there's a lot of this like Kunal only had shared with me like there's this Korean like K-pop, K-drama kind of stuff. But there is some on vertical also.
There is an app.
Full for this.
Shit,
Yeah.
damn.
I forgot the name of the app. There is an app. All Korean shows on vertical. You know of that? I'm forgetting
I know
the app.
about
Very
it.
huge app.
Korean shows, but I don't know if this is vertical.
Korean
But
shows
where is
shot
that
on
for to bend
vertical.
the phone? I don't get that.
Yeah, but so this, so is that's how it comes? Like you have to bend the phone?
No, I mean it's a vertical, dude.
It's a vertical. It's
Yeah.
vertical.
What's the maximum length?
I mean, some of these are like proper, like say 5-10 minutes also.
Okay, 10
But
minutes.
the thing is, it's short on vertical, which is like
Right.
it's crazy to think that you can't just do this to like watch like a YouTube video. Before.
So we did something. In
Have you seen auto
2018.
rickshaws in Bangalore?
Yeah.
You have seen?
Yeah.
Watch the behavior. Every
Yeah,
time they're
they're on
driving,
reels, dude.
it's
They're
on
watching.
reels. It's
Dude,
on reels.
it's crazy, yeah.
They're not rotating.
Yeah.
Dude,
Oh,
some
yeah.
people have two phones, one phone for Uber, one phone for Reels.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Reels are biggest addiction of the
So
of the
you know,
world right now.
when IGTV released on what you said on vertical content bit,
Yeah.
I remember like I instantly thought it wouldn't work because and it didn't. They shut it down
Yeah,
at
it
that time, right? Because I think we're used to consuming content in this format,
Yeah.
right? The 916 can't keep our attention for long. That's what
Yeah.
I felt, and that's
Back
why
then, yeah.
because they said they would eventually launch.
I think they
1
were
hour.
too late to the game. They wanted to attack YouTube when shorts
Yeah.
again came.
Yeah, and I think
They timed it wrong.
So I think they were lucky. They got a big break when TikTok got banned. And I think
Exactly,
all of them
exactly.
in India got it. Like I remember in 2021, we advertised on MX Takatak, on
Moj.
ShareChat, Moj, And there was one more I remember, as much as probably we did on Meta and Google.
Yeah.
Like the spends was as much. Because
Chingari used to be there.
Yeah, Chingari
Chingari,
for a
yeah.
short period of time.
Chingari is still there. I guess.
I think they pivoted, didn't they? I don't think they are.
Chingari launched one Astro app, one
right.
Damn.
one
That's a
crypto.
Apparently,
Crypto.
Swiggy is launching something in this space.
Swiggy
in
is
Astro.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not launching a new thing. They are just
marketplace types.
Yeah, opening the
Yeah.
marketplace in the same app itself.
Oh, right.
So Astro and legal services, by the way.
Oh, legal as well.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
Astro and
interesting.
legal
My God.
In Swiggy.
in Swiggy.
Oh, wow.
Astro and legal.
As soon as they IPO, they're like, okay, guys, you have tons of other ideas.
See, ambulance
Yeah.
opened up on
Yeah.
Blinkit.
I think
Anything can be
they're
done.
trying to be super app anyway.
They're trying to be
Eventually,
they're
right?
already towards that.
I mean, I think ride hailing also will
Yeah.
come eventually.
Oof.
Yeah. Oh, so coming back to this, right? I figured it wouldn't work, and I think after that, this 2018, 19, I think somewhere in 20 something they officially killed it because Reels was anyway taking off.
Yeah.
And I think Reels worked because I think it was just micro, 15 seconds at best.
I also
That
think
became
it's
the
the thumb swipe, dude. I think that is very important. Like it was it's
Simple.
like the thing is, if a reel is boring for like 1 second, I can skip it so fast. Like I think by the time I do this, my brain has even comprehended.
that way I think stories are far better in terms of user control.
It's like a
because
right
a
swipe,
tab.
yeah.
It's a tab, right?
Yeah.
It's a little faster, better.
But I think even say when stories and feed was, the story was very popular, right?
Oh, wow. I don't
Yeah.
use tab for stories. I swipe.
Wow. Okay.
You can tap to skip, but yeah, like you,
I've always
you
tapped.
swipe to jump from one
Because
to
you
the other.
have been swiping reels, you
Yeah.
are copying that behavior.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
But it's sideways. That's the only difference.
Interesting.
I think this thumb flick up was what TikTok discovered. That was the thing
Yeah.
that killed our generation.
Probably.
Yeah.
And and I was very aware of this. So for the first year, and I've told this to Vidhu probably before, I would block every reel that came my way, like the account, because I didn't like watching reels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, initially
And
it was
we knew,
very-
Yeah.
we knew when we first engaged with Reels that this is gonna fuck us up.
Yeah. I remember.
We still.
Initially, all the reels were dance. Like,
Yeah.
on my
Dude,
feed,
yeah,
all the
yeah.
reels
So
were dance.
initial-
So I
but
met
the-
a.
But what was that app before TikTok, which got acquired
Before
by
TikTok.
TikTok?
Musically.
Yeah, and that was all.
Yeah.
There was
So
music,
that's
there was
like
Dub
normal,
Smash.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So
Dump
people
Smash.
knew
Yeah,
Dub
yeah,
Smash,
Dub
so they
Smash.
just copied the behavior to this thing. Dude, I loved Indian TikTok. Indian TikTok is the best.
Yeah.
It's like
we
the
had.
most, yeah, dude, like tell story of Nagaraj.
Yeah, so our office boy who just came by, he was big on TikTok before it got banned.
Okay, let me set some
And,
more. Wait, let me
yeah,
tell the story better. Let me more context. So he's like, bro, figure out TikTok, let's work on it. And I'm reading blogs, articles, and all that stuff.
It
Seeing
was still
what we
Musically,
did.
right?
Huh?
Back then? No, it was TikTok?
TikTok,
Oh,
only, yeah.
TikTok.
So it was new to
Yeah,
India.
yeah. We were on it. Like I was posting pictures of like like I still remember my last TikTok video is Level Road on the day that Modi announced lockdown. I was out and then
you're shooting it.
Yeah, I was just shooting and then but that day also was a lockdown, so there was nobody on the street and that's my last reel
TikTok.
or TikTok. Sorry, right?
Yeah,
But
I mean, we were trying to study.
Yeah, we
TikTok,
were trying to figure
I
out.
was making the playbook for TikTok. Going to crack this platform first
in
in
fact,
India.
I
And-
think
Which you did eventually.
Huh?
Yeah? Which
I
you
mean,
did.
not really, but I'll tell you what happened. I'm figuring this out, and then Nagaraj, who's the office boy at Virality, like he has like a viral reel, and we're like, bro, what are we doing?
Yeah, he has
Like, literally, he was
600K.
just dancing with his cousins.
Yeah.
and it's,
we're like,
and it's not one, it's many.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
has like 2 million followers, and I'm like, what the hell? And
Like,
that's
he
when we
figured it
realized,
out.
yeah, that the content just goes viral,
Yeah,
right? And there's nothing like there's no
Yeah.
science to it,
There's no science
like
to
other
it.
platforms.
It's very random.
Yeah, and fast forward now, and I was reading this book last year, and it has this nice opening about the landscape of social algorithms, and he calls it the TikTokification of social media.
Yeah.
It's a
Yeah,
Gary
yeah.
Vee book, right? And it talks about that how
Instagram
everything's
is
become-
random as well, right? now.
Yeah,
Insta
exactly.
Reels is very random right now.
Right?
Yeah.
And
even LinkedIn had to launch
Videos.
Yeah.
vertical content.
That's
Exactly.
crazy to think about. Yeah.
But so at that time I remember meeting marketers, brand managers, and I remember one client
Yeah.
of ours, very famous, then had his own startup, went to Shark Tank and all of that. I remember him being very opposed to the idea of us trying anything vertical for this brand.
Oh, damn.
And he would say, "Arey, sabko hero banna hai." You know, that's the problem I have with these reels, because that was a trend, and that was probably because I think most formats of content typically comes from a hangover that the previous popular content format has had, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
So first gen content on Facebook are all banner ads.
Yeah.
Because banner ads worked, right? And if you go trace back to the olden days and you looked at the first TV ad, it looks like a print ad and it sounds like a radio ad.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a combination of the two. So it's always been the case. I think now people are really changing. I mean, it's probably innovating, I would say. And I think they're finding solutions to it. So one problem I do have on UGC, and I think where I think it has not evolved in the right format, and where I think there's real opportunities, and I'm this is something that comes up in a lot of conversations with potential clients, with other marketers and brand managers, which is a lot of them feel that there is no unique differentiation that you feel when you watch a piece of content.
Correct.
That everything ends up looking the same,
Yeah.
or it's a template.
Sounding the same, looking the
Yeah,
same.
because a creator has a template, and with that template, he's able to make 20 ads, let's call it that, right? For 20 brands. But they all look and feel the same.
Yeah.
And that inherently was the reason why brands used to come to agencies. Correct. Right? That we want uniqueness.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is a conundrum, I feel, in today's day and age. And I also think the marketing world and marketing janta is, some of them are evolved enough to understand it, some aren't.
Yeah.
And I think typically the people who come from growth-led metrics typically tend to prioritize that over creativity.
But I also think that's dying. Like,
Right.
it's even today your follower base doesn't define how much reach you will get. Right?
Correct.
So it's all about content getting reach. That is how you build brands. Nothing else.
Right.
I feel creating differentiator is either become near to impossible or very, very hard, or
From a brand level, you mean?
from a brand level.
Really?
I feel it's gonna be more and more hard, given that now AI content is gonna be big.
Big thing, yeah.
And like people who can produce a lot of content, no matter how it is, and get engagement, is gonna win the game over people who are focusing on
So
building
now,
brand side.
if you look at from a macro lens, what is happening is, and I don't have the answer for this, but a damn good point that Saanand made, is, let's say if on an average I'm consuming 20 videos, even if I found the best video, which is the fourth video, I forgot.
Yeah.
Just by nature of my day.
Yeah.
So brand recall now is not a function of creative inside the video anymore. It is just the function of how many times that, even if it's average,
Yeah.
how many times it can keep
It's
on
a
coming.
frequency game.
It's
It
a
is,
frequency
yeah,
game
yeah.
right now. And unfortunately, frequency is not equal to your production quality. You will, and there is a certain amount of script writers that can write. You can't
Yeah.
write 100 videos and all.
Yeah.
So to play that frequency game, you have to dilute your content. It might look the same. It's fine, but and that's why performance people are driving towards that.
Yeah.
Where I feel, and this is what I'm trying to build a model. Fairly, I have tried with one of the brand, seen certain successes. Do all your creativity in the top of the funnel. Only in the middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel, do whatever is
Right. So
marketing demands.
again, so the coming back to what you were saying, right, which is becoming tough to build differentiation.
Yeah.
So is that because not enough people know how to build differentiation?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Or is it because there's too much volume of so-called differentiated messaging that is coming out, and hence as a function of which people are not able to maintain recall? Is it
So,
or is it? I'm sure there's weightage on one side or the other. I think it's on the former, which is I don't think there's enough people who know how
That's
to build
true, yeah,
differentiation.
That's true. That's true.
But I'll tell you one thing also, because of this UGC ad space, is that like let's say the copywriter, they're incentivized to write copy that will sell.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they'll make any claim in the book. Right. And the thing is also, it's very easy to copy ads.
Right.
Like let's say you can go to ad library today. I can see what his brand is and I can copy the script ditto and run it again. So that's why, like you spoke of differentiation, right? That's why content is looking the same again and again. Like I'll give you like an example. A lot of brands we work with have sometimes agencies. Agency says, we have a great brief for you. Bro, ads sorted. And I'll see the brief. It's 10 ad library links, copy these ads. So even for them, typically what they tell us is, dude, we want to copy this ad. That's the ad that we want to create. But like, also like sometimes they'll say, let's make a claim about this. This will solve it in 2 hours. And you'll be like, does it? Oh, that doesn't matter. Like that brand is using this hook, it's working well, so let's also do that.
Right, and this is very interesting, right? Because in a proper creative agency, one of the traditional mainline ones, if a writer copied something,
Yeah.
they would not only be fired,
Correct.
but the rest of the people in the company will stop talking to the guy because they look at him like a plagiarist and a thief.
Yeah.
Right? It's very funny, but that's the reality. That's how they look at them.
Yeah.
And that's the creative world. It's the same as films, right? If you copy a film without taking permission from the
Yeah.
original makers, you're looked down upon. And I think it's also the culture or the background of the kind of creative that you are, where you come from. For example, I think most traditional writers and marketers in most traditional legacy agencies were people aspiring to be in film. So I
Yeah.
think they had certain principles and creative guidelines.
Correct.
I think most of them, and I've seen most of the UGC creators that I've met and seen and interacted with, don't come from anywhere close to that. They have no creative ambition.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
They're never going to write a book. They can't write poetry, for example. Like there's none of that, right? There's no creative
Also
expression for that matter.
Yeah.
There are people who are salesmen or sales folks who write for the purpose of it to get across the finish
make a
line.
sale. Yeah.
So I think it's coming from there, and I feel, and this is the classic case, right? Whenever a brand would rebrand themselves or would commission a research to find out what's not working, it's often because sales has done everything that's there to do, and it's at a dead end. And now they need to bring in the experts to do a postmortem and find where it is. So I feel a lot of the UGCs today is going down in that direction, where I think it's going to cannibalize each other because there are no guidelines and principles, and
but it's literally salesmen only, because when you were telling me this, I was just visualizing, and the first visual that came in my head is, let's say Delhi में पालिका बाजार कोई गया हुआ है, so every shop का sales का vocal pitch, the pitch is exactly the same. So technically they are also creators, like someone had to create that pitch,
and they're damn good also.
In fact, you will see a lot of shopkeepers who are online, they make really reels, crazy reels, which is nothing but a video version of whatever they do it offline. So this is nothing but sales practically, and hence creativity has lesser.
So this is interesting, right? And I'm sure there must be one salesman in that market who is an innovator, and who's found a different tone or a different language.
But then people will copy them also.
People will copy them.
So exactly, and I think, and that's the nature of sales, by the way, because sales is do anything that it gets to make the sell, right? So in sales is often a problem where it can only do so much, and after a while, then no matter how much sales you do, it will not change the impression you have. Like, I'm sure we all know Eureka Forbes or Herbalife, or those are MLM, some of them. But the point being that they're all door-to-door salesmen who would come to you and where you are and distribute to you, but you still don't want to buy it. Right? Because you don't inherently feel that this is something that you need or you want, etc. And that's because you have not created that differentiation or that USP a layer before. So is that going to continue being a function for somebody else to solve, while UGCs for somebody else to a distribution or sales-led communication is going to be done via UGC only? Or is it a world where the traditional guys who understand creative storytelling adapt to UGC and then they sort of start doing it? Because see, that's happened, right? Like when social media started, I remember when I was speaking to some of my friends whose parents were in ad agencies, and they would be like, it's not important to us. Like we don't look at it as something serious. And then neglected it. And then so many digital social agencies came through and they started doing traditional work. And they started cannibalizing and eating their share of the wallet. So would that kind of a trend come where people who understand traditional brand adapt to this? Or do you see UGCs adapting to traditional brand?
I feel we have moved away from brand to growth. It's more science now.
Explain that more, brand to growth.
Like brand is very feeling led. Right? You design everything around how you make someone feel. Growth is very data driven.
Correct.
Right? Your guidelines are gonna be very data. Like you have to figure out things which will give you more reach, more sales, more everything. But capturing a feeling for a brand will be super, super hard. I feel there will be very few brands which will be able to do that, like Mokobaras or Zomatos of the world. But I think it's going to be super, super, super hard.
But is it because I think with these brands, with Zomato at least for that matter, they tried in their own way to do it, and then they did. But are brands trying today? Because I feel brands today are not trying, and I think this traces back to the fact that we live in a world which is very, very VC influenced, and everything is about growth because some fund manager somewhere wants to get a bigger investment in the next series, and then probably look at his way of getting out. I call it the greed-based economy, honestly. Right? And as a function, everything is about moving fast, breaking things, apologizing later. So in a world like that, I feel anything that is generally a little slow to cook or craft, they don't have an interest in.
Exactly.
I think it's the same thing. It's if a chef opens if a chef opens up a great experience-based dining restaurant, he possibly can't compete with the scale of growth that a McDonald's can do, right? Because you just can't open that many branches. And as a function of which, he's going to stick to one and do it really well. Whereas a lot of VCs are going to go and say this is not a fundable business for whatever reason. Right? So I think we are at that inflection point in the world. And what's happening is so much influence that's going through VCs that I think everyone's sort of saying that's the right model. But I don't think everyone can do that. I don't think everyone can be a Frito or a Bare Anatomy or any of those brands or even Zomato for that matter, right? Who are grown on distribution first model. And as a function of which growth. So is it then advisable?
The Fredo model, I have a fundamental problem with that, and because I have been on brand sides multiple times, enough time to see that pattern, is when a brand is built on heavy performance, like heavy performance, you can easily track your organic searches. Okay? And it doesn't matter you are a bootstrapped company, VC company, doesn't matter. The philosophy and the nature of the laws of the nature are still the same. Let's say Mokobara is investing in a lot of brand marketing, let's say. If I see 30% month on month brand searches growth, I would still consider that as a much better model.
Than just pure this thing. Because there will be an inflection point. And like you have been in the industry for long enough time to understand, every 1 year, the floor will hit the roof. Like you can't keep on doubling down and pressing the button on Meta. You just can't do it. Right.
And it doesn't matter even if I increase your UGCs to from 100 to a 200.
It won't solve the problem.
It won't solve the problem at all. वहाँ पे. So unless and until there is a pull factor, that people are coming to your website to see, hey, what new collection has come up. Like even if like Vanusen, even if they're not running ads on D2C, you will still go and say, okay, let's see what is happening,
what they're doing,
what they are doing.
So I have a live example to give. I also have similar thoughts on Fredo, by the way, because I think we've discussed this before, which is a lot of Fredo's communication that I get is always problem via solution. Problem via solution. Problem solution.
Agitation, solution.
The problem with that is, in the larger sense, is then I think of the brand only with problem.
So
right? It's about being famous by being infamous.
I have a different view on it. Like I don't know much about Fredo, to be honest, but if the product which they're creating is world class, they'll have a lot of recall and organic automatically.
Fair.
I think the brand building will be function of customer experience once you acquired the customer, not before that.
Correct.
And then a lot of word of mouth will happen. Before that, it will be very different, right? Like in the world of Apple, we also have Amazon, which has done amazing customer service and grew on the back of that, right? But they were very performance led from day one. So I feel
you're right, because so actually on Fredo's case itself, he's got a point, because I actually tried one of their sole shoes, one of those insoles. Because I remember Adidas launched a product like that in 2011 and it didn't work. And I was curious to, because a friend of mine had it and then he used to wear it to the gym. I've tried it once or twice. So I was curious to see if they had, cracked it. So I purchased one and did that. But that comes after the first layer of trust built on the first purchase, which is a pillow. Right? Simple. And I think from there it went on. So yes, it's possible. I'll give you another example on the same point.
I just want to add to that, like, because today Gen Zs, we are not the real buyers anymore, right? Gen Zs are the buyer and they are used to consuming that content. They will buy from brand like Fredo much easily than us. We come from the world of Fevicols. Right. We have that sense of like feeling hona chahiye and all that, but they don't care about that, right?
But is that, you mean, like, do you see a premium purchase also happening with that same mindset? Like, for example, Wakefit, right? I'm wearing one of Wakefit's. I buy them because I think great design, good for short-term use, great for a podcast appearance. Like, I have no problem putting that out on film, right? So, but I would probably wear this for 5 times and then I would probably not. But I wouldn't wear this for a friend's birthday party, for a Christmas gathering, New Year's. I'm probably going to go and buy something that's 4 times the value minimum, if not higher, right? And that again comes from the aspirational value that the brand is built, is what do I want to be associated with when someone looks at me and they perceive me in certain way. So right now I do understand Gen Z is flocking to a brand like Wakefit also because it's not expensive. It's very financially driven. And we all know that in that age group between currently what is 20 to 25, 27 is somewhere where you don't have highest of purchasing powers either. So that could be influencing it, right? But if you had the money and if you had all the leverage in the world, would you still revert to that trend? That's
depending on how you feel about the product, no? If you feel associated with the product, if you feel no matter what is the cost, no matter if you have emotional connect with the product, you will come back to it.
So that's what we are trying to aim towards. That generally how mind works is you associate a brand with something. Average order value doesn't matter in this case. When you are building a commoditized brand, so for an example, Boldfit is also another example of that. That okay, you create anything and everything that you don't stand for anything after a certain point.
100%.
For another example, let's say Asics is one brand. And if Boldfit was just doing fitness, then even if you do UGC,
Yeah.
still there is a recall value. Okay, fitness ke liye I will go there.
Yeah.
When Fredo does foam, then okay, in my mind I am like, okay, ठीक है, accessory. When Fredo does chair, ये एक अलग perception पे गया. When they do barefoot shoes, that socks, right now they have come up. So I'm every time like it's here and there. They will find a space for sure.
Right.
Maybe they will put sub brands and start building towards that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's
Yeah.
what the
No, makes
major
sense, yeah.
major point of challenge is. Like a wheelchair, let's say they launch on their website. It makes no मतलब कुछ नहीं है उस पे.
I'll tell you the fun fact. Fredo's parent company sells wheelchairs.
Well, sells
Yeah.
wheelchair.
Yeah,
You
so that's
mentioned-
the background they come from. Yeah,
So they are a proper manufacturer-led
Yeah.
thought process here.
correct.
Great on 0 to 1 scale. But I think after a certain point, they will start adapting the brand.
But I think the 0 to 1 journey, like they are the classic, like they raised a lot of VC
Exactly.
money. You have
They
to play
don't
this
raise,
game
huh?
to grow profitably. But the thing is also now, let's say they're in the 1 to 10 stage where okay, chalo, they've probably crossed 100 crore revenue annually and all of that.
Yeah.
They're investing into brand now.
Yeah.
It's also, I think, like a lot of
So
it comes
UGC
from-
is a function of stage.
it's just performance for them.
100%.
So
Yeah.
UGC is a function of VCs.
UGC is a
I mean,
function of VCs.
Is a
Yeah,
function of VCs.
sure, yeah.
And also stage. Like
Also
0 to
stage.
1, you
Yeah.
will do.
So 0 to 1, you basically need cash flow.
Yeah.
This, okay, if it's giving you sales today, it's giving you cash flow.
Yeah.
User cash would invest in brand which doesn't give you immediate ROI.
Correct.
So then that's like a longer term game. So
But
even
how,
they started
how
doing
are
some
you
stuff.
pitching to
Yeah.
score condoms and cracking it?
They wanted to
That
do
is-
UGC content.
Yeah.
How is it performing for them?
It's okay for them in the sense, dude. Like,
So
they
it's a
have
FOMO.
very different. Yeah, it's just for
It's
a
just
lot of them.
FOMO.
It's just FOMO. Like, say we work with specs makers also, where it's like, if you want to drive traffic to website, you need UGC content.
Tell me one thing. How is UGC? Have you able to find out a data point which is UGC works for retail as well? Like if you have to increase retail ka footfall,
Yeah,
is there a model that works out?
increased footfall in retail.
Yeah.
I mean, ideally, it depends on what kind of like product the brand is selling. But I think it's if you create pretty good content, you can build some more interest about it. And if they can track footfalls too, then there might be something there. Yeah.
Like if Megna
They've not
Foods
done-
comes to us, will we do UGC?
Real estate is working, right? I think it will catch up.
Megna Foods, you can do,
Like
yeah.
we see a lot of videos where people like run around in the property and
Yeah,
then,
yeah.
Like
So
for
I think
example,
that'll-
Megna Foods has like a spicy biryani. Like in my head, I would get let's say like 100 people to go make this reel about like this biryani super spicy, give it a rating, and like be like, can you try this also survive it?
Will you send creators or influencers? Normal creators, okay.
I don't,
Micro
honestly, I
influencers
don't
or
mind
macro?
either. Like if you have creators, they have their own distribution, but if the content is good, right? Even if it's short, whatever it is. And I think if there's a lot of, so I think one thing UGC needs multiple touch points, like a Fredo, right? Like their frequency is very high.
Yeah.
So if let's say if I scroll on my reels, like what did we speak about earlier? Okay, chuck that. But it's like you're getting something on your like feed all the time. So it feels like it's very like, oh, this is like happening quite often. So if I see this Meghna reel like say 10 times on my feed today, 10 times tomorrow also, there will be an inclination to like, you know what, let's go try it.
Let's go try it.
Now randomly I'm on Swiggy or one day I'm outside, we'll be like, dude, let's go to Meghna's now.
Yeah.
The recall comes later, but you can like push that through content, yeah. See,
Yeah.
again, ultimately it's just awareness. Like reach is just impressions, which is just like more people are seeing it, right? So the more impressions, the more awareness, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's simple. Get a creator, get the content and push through.
But is there a different creative? I think if a purpose of every creative eventually is to sell or to build brand.
Is it? Do you feel so?
No.
Is it?
I think there's created to build brand, which is awareness, and it's created to sell.
But you can't control it, no?
But brand is not awareness. Brand is output, not input.
Yeah.
Brand is output. Brand is output
You
purely.
could do UGC for awareness. Like in fact, to be very honest, most of UGCs I get because the brands are at such a small scale that
Yeah.
it is discovery content for you. It actually isn't. It
It
takes
solves,
a while,
it
right?
solves discovery.
Yeah.
So in that sense, is it different from each other, or are they just different kinds of content, but they eventually do the same job?
Brand content and
Yeah.
brand content is to associate feelings.
How do you define brand content?
Yeah, I think.
High production.
No, I don't. I just think it's feeling. It's
Yeah.
that. It could
So
be.
you are not talking about a product.
No.
You are talking about what the brand stands for. That's the video.
Yeah.
If it is not talking about a problem statement inside the video, it's a brand.
No, even Zomato, for example, right? Like I think their brand is simply to put a smile on your face, right? Or like
That's the-
makes you feel witty,
Yeah.
right? That's about it. That's their brand. They just want you to engage with them,
Right.
and by making it witty, funny, and all that.
Yeah. But they don't have one brand video running throughout. So that's in
Yeah.
the brand book
Yeah.
and which they keep on deploying.
Yeah, but then that's their brand building. Right?
Correct.
Yeah. But sorry, maybe I lost you somewhere.
No. So basically, I was asking is like, what is a brand video?
Oh, what is a brand video?
How do you define it in very layman language?
I think you need to go back with something as a feeling. I would say could be positive, negative, could be anything, but a
But I
feeling.
think any video there's like say Fredo, the UGC they do, right? Like ultimately it did make you feel a perception of their brand.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
So it is a brand video.
It is.
Yeah.
Precisely why I asked if is it different? Are they different?
I think the objective the marketers do it with is different.
So when you write it, do you actively think of it? Ki, okay, this should evoke this emotion. When you write it?
For us, we're targeting a problem statement. So in our case, we're targeting a desire.
When you write,
Yeah.
what are you actively thinking? Like
On the ad.
on the ad.
See, for us, primarily it's about like what is the who is the real ICP we're targeting. That's the main thing. Who is the exact audience we're going after? What is the problem statement he or she has, and what is the desire that they want? These three things we have. That's the ad. For us, this is the most important thing. We're not see the customer has a problem statement, or we're creating a problem statement, and we're saying this is a product solution, like what Saanand was saying.
Yeah,
We're not
so-
thinking of how Fredo will be perceived.
So in his video, for example, he's not optimizing for those.
Yeah.
But there is a effect that is
Effect that
created
will happen.
Yeah.
which
For sure.
someone takes back something.
Correct.
But he's not controlling that feeling.
Correct.
Yeah.
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 And
Now
you
the
can't
question-
control that feeling.
You can't control it.
Yeah. But
You
so
can control
so
the
let's put it this way: he's not trying to control that feeling. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
It's not
your
objective.
brand book will help you to control
Yeah.
that.
No, so Pixar has cracked a perfect brand
Story.
book. Yeah, perfect method to capture the feeling, right? They iterate the content until you feel what they want you to feel,
Okay.
right? So whenever they're making the movie, they'll consistently engage with the audience, and if the audience is not getting wowed by whatever they're making,
correct.
they'll keep iterating it. So there is a way, but it's much slower, much
Yeah, I mean we don't have VC funded.
yeah.
Don't have time.
Tell them the
He will
Pixar
get a call
strategies
tomorrow
are-
from
yeah.
Perf ki hey, I want to scale 20,000 extra, give me 2 supply.
Wow.
He'll be like, sending. Full kirana dukan we are running.
Today is,
It is.
yeah. But I'm also more on the sad side of this. Like I feel building brand is much more
Fun.
feels nicer.
But I think there won't be an option in the future.
Yeah,
You
that's-
have to focus on
that's
building
the sad
brand.
part. Yeah.
So one of my biggest things for let's say this coming years also is I don't think people are speaking enough about AI in general, right? So like what's going to happen when AI? Like I'll give you an example. Do you guys know ArcAds?
Yeah.
Yeah. You can create AI UGC videos.
Yeah.
Now earlier you could not use the product in the video, so it's tough to sell. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You can already use the product in the video.
You can clone a creator as well.
You can clone a creative with HeyGen and all that stuff.
How
right?
does that work in the compliances and legal? You will take
For what?
rights of that
from the
creator, from the
yeah,
creator.
you can do that if you want. Yeah.
For
So the
certain
thing is,
period
it's such an
of-
early
if you
space.
want.
It's not
So there's a
formal.
way without it.
Yeah. So the thing is, the space is so new. Nothing is formalized. Creators don't know. You need so much gyan to give
Paytm
them.
used Modi ji's photos, right?
Right.
Oh really?
Did they get sued?
But they,
They-
In
As
the,
in
in the
have
newspaper,
problems.
no.
Is that why they're in trouble?
They were no. I,
no, but they have got
Shouldn't say
permission. You
that.
will not put a PM's
Yeah.
no,
picture
no,
without
I'm
permission.
not saying so.
Yeah,
I
enough
think
shit,
they used the photo without
Permission.
Permission.
Are you sure of
They
that?
just had to give fine of $500 or
So they got
$1,000.
oh 500. Okay.
I don't remember. It was not like a significant
Check it
amount
up.
for a
Yeah,
brand. Like yeah, so
No, but the thing is, see, production will increase like crazy. Meaning, like I think every brand can 10x their output now.
Yeah.
So what happens on a platform like Meta Ads is that like imagine the CPMs going up because there
CPM will go up this
it
year
will go
for
up like
sure.
crazy.
For sure.
So
Yeah.
theoretically, yes, everyone can up their output.
Yeah.
But is there enough talent inherently in market or brands to do
Dude,
it?
the thing is, yes, I'll tell you why. Because why ChatGPT's success was not because the AI that they had was better than other AIs. It's because they made idiots like us chat with the tool. It worked well. The interface is easier, right? And technology fundamentally becomes simpler. Right?
But we're assuming that we're idiots, right?
Yeah. So the thing is, see,
What if we're among the top? That's my
Doing
theory,
that.
by the way. That we are among the top 5% who understand probably, right? In terms of how
but
to
I think,
use
dude,
it.
with AI, the difference is it is doing. I'll give you an example. Have you used Replit before?
No.
Any of you guys know? So Replit is one of the best AI agents today. It helps you code. Dude, I don't know shit about coding. Like I know 10 standard like computer science. Okay, I made a website on Replit. Fully I coded. I coded with text to code, and I don't even know if this code will work well. But it helped me with every single thing. And like I said, I want to make a portfolio section with videos. It made it horizontal. I texted saying, actually, we make vertical videos. Can you change it? It changed the backend code and made it vertical.
So why I feel it will get banned because so
it'll get banned.
no, so why I feel
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
will
I
not
guess.
work this year. This year specifically because so my business is not just in performance. I am trying to see full funnel. on the social side, we have AI labels that Instagram is doing.
Yeah.
This year and last year, you can see a clear difference. The same creators who used to do Heijin, there is a down rank in the videos clearly visible. Okay. So now creators are pivoting to think, okay, what extra can we add and all. I'm pretty much sure if you think from a product head of Meta or Instagram, their business is technically not in same creator को push देते रहो. It is not.
It's new creators.
It's new creators उस पे. That is also the reason why faceless channels were doing pretty well on YouTube. It's not a playbook. Okay, anyone can just go and deploy in that case. So this label, if it is happening on, so essentially what we are doing, we are running ads on the same platform which runs on the same algorithm. It is not a separate algorithm for ads and all. I think this declaration of made on AI and all will also get followed up on your Meta ads. Even if you are not following, it will get auto tagged. The moment it gets auto tagged, there will be some differences. They will.
Think so? I think people will not care. I think so because I think
it is not people caring. It is Meta.
Because they want to encourage more authenticity.
They want to encourage more authenticity.
I think opposite. I think I think what they care is you are hooked or not.
Yeah.
Dude, see the thing is, if there's more
more.
content, you can scroll on the platform
let's
way
say
longer.
bad
So
AI
they
will
win
get-
that way.
Yeah. If AI is getting more, and I feel AI is gonna unleash creativity like not anything we
That's
have seen.
true, yeah.
That's true.
So the kind of content we'll be seeing, like we will be following a random monkey with random color, with random view, random animal which we don't even know is an animal.
Generally,
talking.
if you track how creativity works, creativity always have been indirectly proportional with volume. Generally, you talk to any writer, it does not follow direct proportional principle.
There's no single creator of craft that I know who can do volume.
And that's why
Even films as
imagine
well.
this. I'll give you a direct analogy of this. Akshay Kumar does more volume. And you ask the writers, and writers will tell you that okay, the purane daily soaps are badly written because they have a deadline of doing daily episodes in that case. So traditionally it doesn't follow that rule.
Correct. I agree with you. And I think the craft required to even use AI and make good quality is a craft.
Is a craft by itself.
Right? And that will take some time to come through. Like I think off the top of my head, just coming back to UGC, there's one UGC, not UGC, but there's one ad of Sleepy Owl. That girl knocking on the right? We all know about it, right? Why? Because it really hit. And we still talk about it in the industry because it's very old. It's about 4-5 years old. Minimum, if not more. And I think that was unique at that time. So the uniqueness is what works, right? For example, we felt the same way when we watched Avatar 1. Because it was unique. Or any of these iconic films or songs or any of those expressions of art that we've seen. So I think that first wow wonder, the first time that when you see something, I think job of creativity is to invoke that. And they try to do it in every single attempt. Obviously, it doesn't come through. But that's craft. Right? So that is going to be hard to replicate because at the end of the day, you need a human itself, right? Okay, sure. It's like, so I think AI is protein powder, but human being still has to do the push-ups.
Okay.
I feel AI is very much taking a large part of thinking away from us, right? And
Is it?
It is, gradually it is more like people are starting to use AI to do everything for them.
I think it's
Like
AI is pressurizing linear thinking, not abnormal, irrational thinking. And creativity is always an irrational thinking, not rational and predictable thinking. AI is very predictable thinking.
That's the algorithm,
so you're basically saying AI will enable more creativity.
Enable more creativity is what he's saying.
Sure. In some ways, I mean, if people have inherently certain skills that are undiscovered, and AI enables it, But can you get creative craft on the back of AI?
Yeah. So that's what
unless you have some element of it, right?
That's what I was debating, right? Like, if you have more time in hand, you will have thinking space and you will be more creative.
More creative.
And AI is gonna give you a lot more time, right? Like a job of 100 people you can do in one instant now. Simple example: in last 2 weeks, at our office we have developed 3 products, which I cannot imagine doing in last 7-8 years.
So, is that creativity or is that just speed? Because creativity is actually creating something from nothing, right? Like, for example, I'm sure there are a lot of creative elements involved in it.
No, yeah.
But people have built apps before
Yeah.
or products before, and
Yeah.
now you're building it fast.
Yeah.
So is that the true? Is
So
that
now, because it's building it fast, you have time to think. You have time to imagine. Creativity will.
fair?
Yeah.
Got it. So that I agree. I think
Yeah.
your operational tasks are optimized, so you have time. Then you invest into being creative. Fair.
Yeah.
My question is, fine. So you have time, but or no time in the context of where the time is not a factor. If you're just using AI with you to do whatever you're doing, does it make you creatively better? Operationally, yeah. Efficiency wise, yeah. Efficiency is not always creativity, right?
Yeah.
Okay, how do you define creativity?
Creativity, I think, is the norm. It's the spikes that you create over and above the expected norm. So if where the normalcy ends is where creativity begins, right? It's about breaking the threshold, be it in thinking, be it in creating, any form of expression for that matter.
You're saying coming up with great ideas.
Yeah, there's one form of great
Sure.
creativity. Yes.
I think then I agree with you.
Right. So if that doesn't happen, then what is creativity going to solve for in the context of ads? Is it just going to give you more volume? Sure.
Yeah.
Like I remember.
That is volume, yeah.
Yeah, I remember people in a lot of ways, programmatic is AI, right? In some ways or the other.
Yeah.
But does it still solve for anything other than distribution at efficiency? You still need the creative. Creative is your variable.
Yeah.
And it's not solving for that.
I think so. Like creativity is the input. Output is what AI will manufacture and do
Correct.
faster. Yeah.
Correct.
The input will still be needed to be given by ideally a strategist or a creative person. Yeah.
Correct. So then we come back to the question, which is, are there enough creative people to give those inputs for us to have? Because let's assume today in the world, there are 10 great writers or 10 great copywriters, right? They can produce 100 ads. With AI, they can probably do 1,000 ads. But the appetite of the industry now has gone to 10,000.
Yeah.
Because everyone has, needs and everything is moving so fast.
Right.
So then is the talent going to keep up with the platform or with the tools or with
you
technology?
can't. Exactly what Aman and we were debating is you can't have dual personalities. We have always noticed that. Again, the same example in music industry, it used to be there. A singer or a music director who produces more music is naturally optimizing for revenue, for volume. An A.R. Rahman will come out of 1 year, one song, or 2 years, one song. He will quote about his inspiration coming from some spiritual power, but you will never see a volumetric optimizer coming from that. But because that's not how your general individuality is in that case. So we will see two kind of writers for sure. One are the writers who are adapting ChatGPT.
Yeah.
You call them prompt writers, let's say, but there will exist. I think these good old fashioned ads will come back. Why a moonshot is so moonshot will deliver, let's say, 4 ads per year, let's say.
Yeah.
But they will not be able to do 300 ads. Hence, they are not in that zone. A talented will never ever become a UGC. Hence, they had to acquire the other agency and forgot TNT. The new thing.
But if
because they know they will be not.
If you
be able
listen to
do that.
Tanmay Bhatt, it's a science. It's
Huh,
not.
it is a science. It is a science for sure.
But dude, I think a moonshot from doing 4, they can do 8 or 10.
Huh.
Yeah.
They will not do 30,000.
They can. The input time is the same.
Correct.
But output time is there's no production example,
For sure.
right? Like say with tools like Sora and all.
For sure.
They can conceptualize a video. Like Nike's new ad was completed with AI.
But
So they would only spend the writer's room time.
Yeah,
now.
but that wouldn't change anything because the entire industry also is now doing more. So for example, if someone is doing 4 bad ads, they're doing 8 bad ads.
Yeah.
Hypothetically speaking, right?
Yeah,
That's the
yeah.
reality.
Yeah.
So everything
So good will
moves.
standard.
Correct, but the
Yeah.
good stands out today as well.
Yeah.
So
Right.
what will change is the question, which is if today 4 out of 10 ads are good, then tomorrow are we saying 400 out of 1,000 would be better? Are we collectively going to have better, say good people are going to do more volume of good work as a function of creativity? Sorry, as a function of AI. But it's not necessarily going to improve the average, right? For example, if someone's making 10 ads and 4 are good today, and if tomorrow they're making 140 are good, the average still stays the same.
Same. Yeah.
I don't think it will be a proportional increase because by definition, creators are okay.
Because you're more friction, you're more touch
So I'm
points.
just thinking from a macro point of view. For enough creators to be born, it is not a direct proportional people being born. Like rational people are more in number versus creators in that case. You will always have lesser creators. So even if you put the Pareto principle ki 20% will increase, it is not happening on the creator side. So I feel the number of bad ads will increase for sure.
Yeah.
But at
Good
a
will not
very
go
high
up with it.
volume,
Yeah.
good will not increase at that high volume in that case.
Dude, I think the best platform is LinkedIn. I think LinkedIn today, there's so much like absolute
But there is a good thing that will happen. Just because this is not increasing, this price will increase.
A research actually says that age of novelty is actually gone. Age of innovation is gone. We are in the age of engineering. Right? We just craft things together and make something.
Correct.
And make it feel like new, but it's actually not new.
And hence gig economy is easier to now be, more solopreneurs will be born. Making
one people billionaires will happen.
For sure.
Yeah. But that's also the idea though, right? Like, I think they'll have the innovative idea, something new or different, or problems when they're solving. So that's the innovation.
But you know what will happen? There'll be, like you said, there'll be one person billionaire. I think it'll be meaningless to be a billionaire because there'll be many trillionaires. Thousands of trillionaires.
Makes sense.
That much value they generate.
So like, for example, even now, right, like having, I'm sure like if you
It's
were
like having a million. In the age of billions. We are in the age of billions.
I'm sure in 1950, if we were millionaires, it was a huge deal, right? But it's not today.
You would be Elon Musk of that time.
So I think that proportion would,
like Lakhpati used to be a word when I was born.
Nobody cares about
Nobody cares about that right now.
It's crore.
Like, Lakhpati was a genuine word.
Yeah.
करोड़पति तो चलो ठीक है.
लखपति है. लखपति के घर पे शादी होगी.
I think this is interesting, right? Because I feel one of the problems I have with this eternal optimism that people have with AI is this, that everyone feels that only they have found AI. There is this feeling among people ki, oh AI, but not just you, everybody has it, right? It's like a phone soon. Everyone's going to have maybe two.
People who are promoting that are basically selling something. That's what they're promoting. I have not seen a philosopher selling AI dream. I have not seen that.
True. That's also there. Funny enough, I had someone on the podcast last who was CRO, Chief Revenue Officer of an AI startup, but he's a philosopher.
What is he saying?
He said a lot of things, which to be honest, I'll have to rewind to like paraphrase. But
in one word, is he for? Is he against?
Yeah, he's for. I think he feels that consciousness.
But there's no choice now.
There's a choice now.
Yeah, there's no choice. Like,
I think we all are in for.
But
everybody has to
don't
be.
You think like people like Sam Altman or Musks of the world are philosophers?
Good question. I don't know.
I think
they are.
For me, I would say no, because I would look at it and say in 24 hours of the day, how much of time is spent towards philosophy alone without any other thing that happens in there.
Okay.
So I think that's how you define anyone's profession, right? For
Deep
that matter.
thinking is like
So coming back to this then, which is on the AI front, right? Are you guys for AI influencers? Do you think that is the norm and the future for tomorrow?
When you say AI influencers, it is the avatars built from scratch, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like now, because I was looking
I
at
found one in his place.
Yeah,
what do you feel?
Himanshu.
No, the other one.
Kaira.
Kaira. What do you feel about that?
I think I think they came up with wonderful idea when nobody was thinking about it, and I absolutely love the vision these guys have. I think
so. You're bullish on AI influencers.
I'm bullish. I also feel that because AI will not limit you to be just human face.
You can be anyone.
Yeah.
You can be
So Ajadu can also be an influencer.
Yeah.
Ganji Chudel.
Yeah. They will. Churel might actually become.
You can become. You can.
Yeah. So I was looking at some data about V streamers, right? That's a new thing, or VTubers it's called, which is virtual tubers.
Virtual tubers.
Right. Okay. So in Far East, in Japan and Korea, apparently, a lot of kids are hooked onto virtual avatars who stream content, right? Gamers and otherwise. And that's picking up as a trend.
So it's a virtual avatar that doesn't exist, streaming a content.
Like any YouTuber or any creator.
How are they doing it?
Dude, second top chart of Korean music is a virtual band. The people don't exist in the band.
So the music is...
Music's virtual...
video. There's a music video as well.
There is a video. People are there in the video. They are all AI.
For sure, yeah.
Right. So then it's interesting, right? So that shift, and I think this is how trends are born. Now it's down to how the next 5 years plays out, and if say a human is able to keep up with the... Because I'm sure there's some human behind the virtual bands also.
Like in Linkin Park... the new member introduction, the Chester's voice that is used is AI generated.
Right.
Yeah, Mike Shinoda announced that.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I think the thing is today we're saying it's AI generated. I think we won't distinguish it later on. Like it's already getting to a stage where it's becoming so good that it's so normal. Like the thing is, I think the AI avatars we make will be as good as the real ones.
Right.
Yeah, avatar se yaad aaya, I was working with this company when I was doing independent consulting. This is 1.5 years back. That company was launching something in I forgot the name, in death space. So basically they were building, if someone has passed away, you give all of the pictures and videos, they will make an AI avatar, their personalized chat with you, and the person will talk. The first time he told me this, I was like, fucking shit. ये क्या है, बहुत डरावना है. And while I was doing the research, I saw that in US there are already 4 to 5 startups in direct
space,
partnership with crematories who are like, if someone has passed away, they pass on their data. उनका agent sales पे call करता है कि hey, we can make this thing for you. And they package it as a therapy service. कि hey, आपका more और वो grief period, we will reduce it by doing this and all.
That's crazy. Yeah. See, that's innovation.
Yeah, so that is.
They found an interesting use case of AI. This thing. So AI expands possibility, right? Like say for example, a non-technical guy like me is coding now. Now I might have ideas like Aman said, he launched 3 products in a week. Earlier I'd be like product, oh I need developer, like, and then it'll be that probably die over there. Now it's like no, I can go online and create it, right? So I think like
and margins will increase. Margins should increase, but
margins should
definitely.
But the market will also come down, no? People will start paying lesser.
Yeah,
I mean, it depends on. I think the perception of value will change a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, people will not see value the same way. That's why they might pay less because they'll be like, okay, fine, whatever.
It's like
So will authenticity be a factor? Like so I'm sure at some point there will be people who like we have vegetarians and non-vegetarians. There will be people who will consume things that are made and influenced by AI versus people who don't. I think that's a choice some people are going to make, right, in future. At least in near future. Maybe I don't know about 100 years from now.
you're saying there will be like people will rebel against.
No, I think people will be like, oh, that's AI music. I won't listen to it because I don't think that's
for sure.
But that's only now though.
Yeah, exactly. For now, near future, right?
2 years.
Not
2 years. Yeah.
Yeah, not max. 2 years.
Yeah.
Not more than
and
that.
I think after that, it will probably, depending on volume, like today, how we've come to accept UGC creatives as a medium, which wouldn't have happened maybe 10 years ago. Like for example, people sell courses today, right? In terms of, I remember if in 2013-14 in that early gen of Facebook, if you received a course from people, and people did that in that typical style where they got out from a Lamborghini and then they showed their money and then they threw money, or like Dan Bilzerian did, right?
Yeah.
Like you would call them a fraud, right?
Dev Gandhi was a client.
Right, but you would call them a fraud, like typically 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Today it's more accepted.
Today you call him a client.
Yeah.
Wow, we are getting there.
Right, but that's a reality. So I think over time the things get normalized and you start accepting it. But when it comes to selling something, because you're trying to sell something on the back of trust, so influence is leading to trust, or it's coming from a place of trust.
Yeah.
So when there is that problem where in the thought in someone's mind that okay, this is created, will there come a divide where that will be a problem, or do you see that ever being a problem? That if because an AI influencer is endorsing something, I don't think this is fully to be trusted. Or will it depend on the first few cases?
It's again brand at the end, right? Like I think, let's say even in UGC, this world, founders ads works the best. It's a very simple thing because they are the most genuine conviction about it.
Why is it so? Because it's just real and...
Dude, like if I pay an actor to do something, it's just the script. For the founder, they really care about it, right? That shows in the way they like deliver the pitch and all of that stuff. It's always
But that
the
can
case.
only be done in early stage, right?
No,
You don't expect...
absolutely not.
You don't expect Mukesh Ambani to come and say, hey...
Phone le lo.
like, Jio
I mean,
SIM
fair.
card,
So,
whatever.
but maybe not at his level, but like a D2C product brand for sure.
You
Yeah.
never
Thinking
know.
about this,
You never know.
but thinking about this, that could probably work.
Yeah.
He could come out and he could put out a message and that would change it, like Musk does for that matter.
Elon is not saying it, but then we are buying Tesla because of Elon Musk, right? Like he's not saying, go buy my car, I made it with a lot of effort, please, and all that stuff, right? But like ultimately it's him and his brand is what bleeds onto Tesla, SpaceX, whatever, right?
But is there a question about will AI influencers be able to do brand deals and people will buy? That's the question.
Yeah, I'm saying, will that drive, will consumers take to it the same way that they do for creators that they love and adore? For example, I think the greatest example I can give is WWE, because those are not real people, right? I mean, they have real people, but the personas are not real.
Yeah, stories,
Right? Dwayne Johnson is The Rock, let's put it that way. So sometimes I think when we were all growing up or to a larger, to maybe till about the mid 2000s, WWEs were quite secretive about, or the professional wrestling was very secretive about revealing the true names or the real life incidents of people. They wanted to maintain the character, right? But because you bought into the character, because you consumed wrestling for 10 years, or you watched it every Monday or Friday or whatever it is, you start to love or relate to the characters, and as a function of which those characters influence you.
Correct.
Right? And that's how it was. So in a case of an AI influencer, is there an opportunity to do that? Or if they just show up on your feed one fine day and say, hey, buy this, will you do it? Because I think the reason it works for an influencer is because you're bought into the influencer's personality already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You trust them. So
I think
that trust goes
what
up.
we have noticed until now in our own business only, we all stand for it. That if we follow the traditional Salman Khan ad doesn't work anymore, influencer works because of legitness. An influencer doesn't work anymore, we are going into creator led because of legit. Now we are moving into specialized creators, like a gut health expert talking about gut health is working versus someone randomly talking about that. Now, if we have seen that trajectory happening through our lifetime, the AI doesn't fall in this principle practically.
Yeah.
So the past history data points doesn't say so. So maybe
But-
not in massive scale it will work. It will not work in massive scale.
I
You might
feel-
monitor.
I feel it will at a massive
feel
scale.
so?
Yeah. Like already there is a case where.
But then you are discarding this trajectory, what we have noticed till now. Because if that works,
Trust is an emotion.
Because then, so
Right. So, like, there is already a case where someone killed himself because AI told him to do.
true, but those are one of the cases. Like, will it work on the macro level? Like,
it's an
I
anomaly.
think,
AI-led porn is already becoming big. People are spending money on AI porn, right?
because in porn you are not
companions-
optimizing for trust, by the way. In porn you are not optimizing for trust. That's why anime exists.
Like even
hentai.
Kyra has done brand deals, right? With their first brand deal was with Boat.
Sure, because board was optimizing for distribution. Only distribution, reach, frequency, CPM. If I have to do a brand deal for CPM, I will do.
Again, like brand is about association with a feeling, right? You think AI influencer will not be able to come build that feeling. I think they will be much more optimized, much more.
In an ad, yeah, but not in a creator or influencer content.
I think
Because-
reverse, na. In an ad, no, but in a creator,
No.
yes.
What I mean is, in an ad, that person will, if you're using an AI avatar, it can be easily a cast, basically. Like how you cast somebody,
For
you
sure.
can cast a virtual
For sure,
character.
for sure.
And as a result of which, it would come through. But in that instance, it's not the person's, it's not a brand ambassadorial role or endorsement that's doing the trick, but it's just a function of the story. And in there, yes, I believe that you can put a virtual character in and it could probably work.
Yeah.
But for example, if Salman Khan plays a character in an ad, yes, then the narrative of the ad will influence me. Versus if Salman puts up something on his Instagram saying you should do it because I do it, is different.
Yeah.
So I feel the latter is not easy to build with an AI influencer. Because you need to first sell the AI influencer. Then you can
need to first sell the AI influencer,
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah. So you need to build some level of trust first.
Correct. So, for example, you need to then maybe what I would think of is if you have a animated show or an AI show where all
Then
the
you can
characters are
integrate.
AI.
Then you can
Then you
integrate.
can build up the AI. And see,
Then
this is
you
a
can
classic
integrate.
case again.
But
Coming
like
back
we
to
buy products from Captain America.
Correct.
From
Marvel,
Iron
right?
Man,
Yeah.
From entire Disney. So
see, that's a merchandising opportunity that lies on the back of a character.
But you are buying it for the story of the character.
Yeah,
For a story.
but they are virtual characters.
correct.
But still they have a story. They stand for something.
Yeah, the
Oh,
comic
yeah,
books.
100%.
the
My
movies,
argument is not against. My argument is AI influencer will be able to create much more efficient stories than
Fine.
real
So
influencers.
then you're in the business of storytelling.
Then you're the
Oh, yeah.
business.
Right?
Oh, 100%.
And your
Stories will not
characters,
die.
so then you need to build a whole universe
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
or collaborate with a universe that
Yeah.
exists.
Yeah.
So then you are not building a fashion AI model.
Studios.
You are building an IP
This, yeah. Makes sense.
and you are endorsing the product inside the IP.
Correct.
Yeah.
There is a massive potential.
Yeah.
Correct.
And this is where the trick comes. To build an IP, you need writers.
Yeah.
AI, the people who believe fundamentally in AI are rational thinking engineers.
Come back.
The moment you put writers, they will see. I have realized it very badly that you can't have engineers and writers in the same culture. I don't know how this will get solved.
Beating
because-
my whole thesis.
Yeah, so, Shut down.
Virality no longer exists.
I'm bullish that whatever we are doing right now
But I agree.
will be very different in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about 1 year?
1 year might be.
1 year might be.
Too fast again?
Because if it was 1 year, you might have already changed it to. Are you not doing AI avatars testing in UGC ads?
We're not doing the thing is, no, we use a lot of AI for voiceovers and stuff.
That
That
doesn't
is fully
matter.
with AI,
That
yeah.
doesn't
With
matter.
avatars, no, not yet. I mean, we tried some stuff with internally with Hagen and all now.
One category who is killing it, and I have myself created and I've seen CACs reducing, is spirituality category. You check the ads of Sri Mandir. All ads are AI generated, working beautifully well. The sound is AI
I'm
generated
texting
and
you.
everything.
I'm texting you. My clients are all spiritual.
Yeah.
Working damn well. I was consulting Vama. Vama is a competition of them. I got introduced to these guys.
Life Guru.
I was doing live
Yeah,
after
yeah.
that, but Vama ke time pe I was using what is that platform? अरे बात कर रहे थे हम लोग. This your UGC in a tool, in a VC funded, Arjun Vaidya funded.
Oh,
Hypergrow.
yeah.
So Hypergrow was
Ruturaj.
Hypergrow was micro creators.
Yeah.
We tried them, worked, but I was able to scale the ads with AI avatars.
Yeah.
So it's a function of category as well. Now this is where I'm not able to understand the trust factor. That in a category which is very high on trust,
Yeah.
it only works because you are selling Bhagwan ki story, and God doesn't have a face or a touch and feel.
It's already an avatar.
It's already an avatar. Maybe that's why it's working.
OG avatars.
OG avatars.
Yeah. No, I am
Hashtag
bullish
is
on
God
it that
Yeah.
AI is gonna build trust, all kind of emotions we can imagine, and it will gonna.
Yeah, very honestly, the next generation, they will grow up in a world where they've only seen it.
Yeah.
Right. So then for them, it's normal. For us, we've experienced and this is why I think cultural differences are there. Because if you speak to a boomer, he wouldn't even identify with social media, let alone AI.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's the cultural difference. Like I remember I was just talking about this to someone at home where they would tell us not to watch TV, right? Because TV is bad for your eyes.
Yeah.
Right. And I think we are giving iPads to 3-year-olds
Yeah.
and 4-year-olds. So culturally things have changed a lot. So I guess yes, that's possible.
Yeah.
But I think that it will be, I think, limited to like a Gen Z or an Alpha or a Beta or whatever.
But
comes
one thing is,
after
do you
that.
guys think AI cannot and will not ever innovate?
No, it will.
It will, for
No
sure.
doubt about
Okay.
it.
sure.
But in innovation, won't that be creative?
See, I'll tell you what. I think there will, for example, if it is creative to the point where it replaces human beings,
Yeah.
for that matter, then I think tomorrow it's only a matter of time before it starts replacing other human beings.
Yeah.
And then won't certain human beings in power feel that insecurity and then take measures against it?
It gives us liberty to go deeper
It does.
in the world and.
I think a
outer-
lot of the best AI, real innovative stuff, many years from now will exist in black market. I don't think it'll be
that
available.
always happens, right? Yeah. That
I
always
mean, this is
happens.
the whole argument for AGI, right? And even the Anthropic founder, he said that they're like 8 months away from it. So he's saying in 2025 AGI will happen, but it'll still be early. But let's say in 2 years' time it'll be better.
What is AGI? I never really.
So I mean, like you were saying, AI is basically linear. So let's say you give input, you get certain output now. Creativity, like even Steve Jobs says, is connecting different ideas. Correct. Today, AI cannot connect two things together. It's still like, okay, I'm just in this path, right? AGI is actually how our brain works. Like, you will randomly see this cup and you might, like, to me, it reminds me of Burger King's logo. I think the green and then the orange, whatever, right? See, but that's a very unrelated thing.
Yeah.
But that's what a brain can do. It can link to random stuff. So that's called general intelligence. So AGI is artificial general intelligence, where this thing is trained for everything all at once.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the thing is, see, but when you have that, like, that's also what creativity is. I think to like a large degree. So for example, like, I mean, I don't know yet, but I still think it's possible for AI to be creative. Like, not in AI that we have today, but future, once we get a better advanced version of AGI, it can be just as creative as us. The thing is, it will not understand the human sentiment properly, which is always going to be there, but can it connect random ideas together for sure? And I think, but again, like, I think what happens is a creative person will work with AI a lot and they'll come up with something even better.
Yeah.
What if you don't need a like production team anymore? You just need scriptwriters.
Yeah.
And scriptwriters create movies
Yeah,
themselves.
yeah. Possible.
AGI, I first heard about Sam Altman only. It's been 8 months back. You know, what is the first thought that came into my head? I was exactly having the same thought in my head. I was arguing to myself and I got this thought that generally how humans work is humans are made out of traumas.
Yeah.
Whatever you think right now, there, like everything has been built upon trauma that only you know.
Okay.
And might come out when you do therapy, and which technically means that you also consciously don't know. Right. So every creative thoughts that you are building upon is coming from some combination of fear, some combination of what you like, what you don't like, and everything. AI is not built on trauma.
Yeah.
Practically. And maybe let's say you have universal trauma.
Yeah.
It will not build upon that.
Exactly. Yeah.
So even if AGI is achieved and AGI is doing general intelligence, a writer who comes from a smaller town, who used to stammer at certain point of time, who sees a different world in Metro and who writes a script of movie, is not directly replicated by any AI.
Yeah,
you have
for
to give that prompt maybe. Hey,
some level of interference is needed.
Some level of interference is needed for sure. And those interferences are very, very technically chaotic interference. That, okay, imagine in childhood you were doing this, blah, 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 that.
Yeah.
The interesting fact is, to give that prompt, the prompter needs to be very, very self-aware and to give that.
Yeah.
So prompting techniques need to improve
A
for
lot,
us to
yeah.
achieve that. So hence
That's
it is a
the
skill.
input thing, yeah.
Hence it is a skill.
Yeah.
So it is creative for sure, but I feel it is even more creative for the person who is doing
Doing
that.
it. Yeah.
So then it adds to your thinking, right? Yeah.
For
it will
sure.
take a large part of
For
your
sure.
thinking also.
For sure.
Yeah, and I think I just picked this up when he was saying about a writer making an entire film by themselves, and it will happen, no doubt about it. I think today what happens is a writer then collaborates with a production set designer or whoever else it is, and then brings it all to life, right? So tomorrow, so you're cutting one role out,
Correct.
and then when I think there will come a time. So I'm thinking like this today. If I'm a writer, I work with an artist to create the set design. But tomorrow he's not there and I'm just entering prompts,
Full control.
right?
Yeah.
But then do I know what the right production design needs to look like? We are betting on we're just taking a guess that the writer will know that information, which is not given.
Right.
And
I
then
think
tomorrow,
AI can give you options for that.
right.
I
And then
think it'll do that,
tomorrow, as an extension of that, a director will say, I don't need a writer, and an AI will do that. And now the thing is, does the director have the ability to now curate and tell which kind of a script or which kind is better, right? And how many years down the line are we where no one's ever written a script or no one's ever designed a set?
Which means we should write better creative briefs. We should be able to.
Oh yeah.
Otherwise,
Hopefully.
we are just.
Hopefully, I think
That was
the
always
day,
the case.
The day that, to be very honest, if AI can solve for that, I will then take its true,
Writing briefs.
like not, I think simplifying that process.
Have you institutionalized writing briefs using AI in your company, or
I mean, what kind of brief are you referring to?
creative briefs? Like a writer has certain
Do you
thought in the
have,
head.
okay, this is a good question. Do
this
you
is-
have
yeah.
a process of creative briefs?
Yeah.
You are more strategy, right?
Yeah, it's not as much as a brief thing. It's not. I don't consider our work creative to start off with. I consider our work very much science. It's not creative per se, but there's a concept in mind. There's a way to brief that to the team, which takes it. But it's like we don't look at it. We can brief some clients on what problems they want to solve. For us, that's a brief. Yeah,
Fair.
but that has a lot of gaps, like you said. Yeah.
You have, right?
Yeah, proper. I think a brief comes from a strategist to a creative.
So
That's
you
the
have,
process.
like fully institutionalized that.
Yeah.
process
Without that, we don't start because there's no point. Then everyone's not on the same page. You don't know what you're chasing. Then the rinse repeat. Then you confuse the creative also because then they don't know what exactly you're looking for.
Yeah.
Instructions
But the
change.
thing is, why do you need a brief if you can do everything yourself? with AI?
Correct. That's true.
Then you just know the brief yourself. So the thing is, like, say you have, I think only strategy will exist. So what that means is, let's say, for example, if I'm a marketing department, I know what I want this brand's perception to be built out. Let's say I want to do email marketing, for example. I might have a Klaviyo AI agent that does perfect email copywriting. It's pretty good at that. It can build out the right sequences, funnels, everything for me. I just need to guide it on what it is doing.
But
I
here
didn't
your
do that.
assumption is the brand gave you a clear brief.
No, I'm saying I'm the brand. I can do this myself.
Acha, you are the brand.
Yeah, so let's say that's the thing. It's my own brief. Like let's say I'm the CMO in a company, for example. I don't need a team. I'll have a team of AI agents who will do everything for me.
So then you are saying agencies will be lesser?
Technically, yeah, but also I think where the problem statement comes is one is that like the arbitrage now I think is that brands still don't know how to do this. That's the arbitrage for us to like tackle into, at least that's the direction we are pushing towards.
So the money is in doing corporate trainings in brands and not starting an agency.
Probably.
Sure.
Yeah.
Let's
it is.
start.
100%.
Yeah. But I think you don't need to, again, like I said, AI fundamentally, I mean, every tech always becomes simpler. So the thing is, I'll give you an example. There was what is it? I keep forgetting names. There used to be this like a Shopify plugin where you can chat with this chatbot
Right.
to run ads on Facebook.
Right.
Right, dude, and that was very popular. Only thing is, it was bad.
But
It
tell me
didn't
one
perform
thing.
well.
Yeah,
But
now it will be
What you are doing.
now will be crazy. Yeah,
It's already happening.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So the
AI
thing is now to
performance
give a client,
bot
yeah.
is running
So
ads.
like say Meta, if they launch an AI tool to let's say run ads for you, optimizes every second, which
Yeah.
no agency person is able to do. The difference is right for them from a business perspective. More people can advertise.
But
that's
one
what
thing,
they want.
We are
you are
done for.
doing currently.
There's no insane.
So you are doing
no
Yeah.
virality.
So you are doing currently just one thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Virality is doing multiple things, and hence when you do multiple things, it's hard to decode. It's not
Yeah.
that easy. Ki, okay, it's visually visible.
Yeah.
Yours is pretty visually visible.
Yeah.
Ki, okay, this,
Yeah.
that. Do you think that the money that you're able to charge right now, if you just teach that playbook to people, charge a higher pricing power,
Yeah.
go to the brands and just say, I will set up the team for you and all, you'll be able to hit the same revenue, or the revenue is in the commoditizing the playbook. So essentially your business is in commoditizing the playbook.
Unless he turns it into an institution.
Unless it turns into an institution, which
Where every people come in and you have a revolving customer base, which are your students who come
Yeah.
enroll and graduate and go out, then yes.
Yeah.
But if he's only going to do it as say a PDF or an ebook
Correct.
or something, then I think it'll leak out and eventually.
Correct.
You know,
Then
like
it'll be
I was just thinking about this the other day. One of the reasons why advertising or marketing is struggling so much is because there isn't a defined process in today's day and
Correct.
age of how each of us work. We have 4 agencies and all 4 of us probably operate very differently.
For sure.
Right? As of that gives the and sort of sets the ground for a 5th person to enter in with his process.
Yeah.
60 years ago.
Why do you feel so? Why do you feel
Because I feel 60 years ago, an Ogilvy, a Leo Burnett, or a Gray, or whoever else it was, inherently there was creative that they did, and there was a process, and the process was 80% similar across, right? And then the differentiator was the creativity, or how you actually got it right. And you can't templatize it, you can't make a process, and it's just a wow magic moment. It happens, it doesn't happen, and that's a hit and miss. So
Okay.
So it was sort of a lot more, what do you call it? There was a reason why you went to an agency. You already knew what you're getting or what you're not getting.
But all 4 of them are doing the same thing. So you are going for the person.
Correct, right?
But right
or
now-
category experience or whatever else the variables might be in that, right? Now, I think what's happening is because there's so much variability, it gives the client also feeling that, oh, even we can do this. And as a function of which I feel they're in-housing things. Because because I feel what also happens is nobody can, like among the independent, smaller digital agencies or even performance agencies which are coming up, through the roof every now and then.
Yeah, I
like right yeah, tell me about it, right? That it's democratizing it to a level where everybody feels they can do it.
Yeah, true.
And as a function of which I think they're feeling, okay, we'll only build in-house teams. And it's a cycle. Sometimes they get it right,
Yeah,
sometimes they
yeah.
don't get it right. Right? And young brands who don't have experience will in-house it, and then they realize that, oh shit, this is a separate business by itself.
Yeah.
Right? And there's no sense for us to keep it. We might as well get it off the payroll. But they go through the cycle. Right? And like you said, Frito's able to do it because founders have a background in performance who understand it probably.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the difference. Like if I was building a brand, would I in-house the creative team? Probably, because I have some understanding of it. But I also know where to draw the line and how much should be in-house versus how much should be outside.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the thing. Yeah.
Like exactly. So here I feel right now the lack of sync and the lack of a defined way of doing and the lack of proven methodology of what gives you success makes it so open and ended and played that anyone can do anything, and it's counted as a way of getting things right. And that is I think the biggest reason for why brands are in-housing the function.
So what you are trying to say is, if Vidhu was a 360-degree agency, if Aman was, if I was, and you were, the chances that any 5th person will come is lesser.
No, I think 5th person would still come. I think we are past that breaking point. Now that it's broken, so now it'll never end. Now I think the eventual outcome is AI and, like we said, 1-person marketing team and brand side, and that's the future, to be honest, right? And some will get it right, some won't, depending on the pedigree of the person who handles the AI. But the point is, what I was trying to get to is, I think the lack of a process, like he said, he doesn't have a creative brief process. I do. You may or may not, and Aman probably also will not have it or may have it. And that creates too much variability, which is tomorrow somebody can come and say, this is the way to do it. And they can run a business on the back of it. Like I was at a jewelry brand, years ago, I think Bluestone it was. And I was there trying to pitch basically. And there was a brand manager there who was a digital guy and performance and everything. And we had a conversation. The founder was very nice in saying that you're not part of a network, so I can't get you on board. Very transparent. That's our policy for whatever reason. I said, I didn't debate with it. I said, fine. So then I stayed back and spoke to the founder, the marketing guy, and he asked me, so what are you guys doing? Like, how do you start up? So I gave my story. So he said, but why are you starting? I'm like, what is it? What do you mean? He's like, there are so many of them already doing it and who are doing it better and at a larger scale. Why would you want to enter it? So at that point, my instant answer was, well, to earn a living. Like that was my simple answer, right?
Correct.
But what point he was trying to get to is, what are you changing or what are you doing differently that moves the needle? I didn't understand what he meant, and we also didn't explain everything. But that was I think 2018, 2019. I think now what's happening post that is now that's accepted.
Right.
Where any new person comes to a room, we're like, sure, let's meet somebody new.
Yeah.
What's new?
Yeah.
So I think people are
clients
now
are window shopping for that.
correct. So now you work with an agency to figure what is new, what's different. And that's like the sort of the caveat probably why you want to go work with somebody.
Yeah.
And then there are other clients out there who sort of know what they want, and then there's a certain set of or type of agencies that they want and they work with. Like for example, clients that go to him today for UGC know exactly what they want.
Correct.
It's not solving for brand, not solving for top of the funnel. It's just doing functional communication, and that's what they want. I think that's the maturity level that the industry is at.
Yeah.
So institute would be great.
Retainer is a myth these days, basically.
Yeah.
Window shopping is very, very high.
Yeah, and I think that also comes from the lack of. So when do you window shop? When you don't know what you want.
Yeah.
I think that's a harsh truth that nobody talks
That's because
about.
they don't have a brief to start off with.
Yeah, right. I think
Starts on there.
Yeah, and
Also, when you
the
have
Yeah.
this is the same. I think it has got a lot to do with the environment. You just because it's a human at the end of the day. That human is changing clothes faster in fast fashion, changing dates on dating app, swiping faster than before, consuming content than before. That behavior will also exist here. There is this new guy who has come up shouting on LinkedIn saying, I can do better ROAS. Let me try and see what it goes.
True.
Experimenting has become like the new way to.
So it's simple. Fast fashion is in agency as well. So
exactly.
it's just,
I think agencies will very well become more AI. What do you call that term?
Agent
Companies.
Agent company, right?
Yeah, you come up with innovative AI agents, and
Correct.
that's how you.
There is no
survive.
other way.
There is no other way.
Like either 5 years before, like my co-founder comes from the legacy world, and he used to say that we used to fight for retainers. I don't see building that culture in fighting for retainers because we are not in a retainer world anymore.
What is the?
We're in a very project-driven world, like extremely project-driven world. Like retainers, average 6 months is also a benchmark right now.
Yeah, I think it's also because I think the model has changed. Like if you look at it, there's a great story of how I think with Shell and Ogilvy, David Ogilvy changed the format for agencies. Until 1980s, early 1980s, creative agencies earned 15% commission on media spends. That was your creative fee. So it meant that you want to work with the biggest spender in advertising because it made sense for you to then offer your creative services against 15% earning of the media budget. And they were spending on, so if someone advertised on TV, you made more versus somebody who did BTL communication, right? And then that was the way agencies figured it out. I think in early 1980s, I think Shell was going through a tough phase and they couldn't afford that 15% additional payout. So he said, leave that and give us a fixed fee. We'll stay on the account. And that started the change.
For fixed fee.
Yeah. And I think everything's changed from there. And I think late 80s, I think they sold and WPP started consolidating, and I think they found that to be a better model. So things started to change from there.
I recently pitched a brand. I'll tell you an interesting conversation. Recently a brand came and said that, okay, will you do UGC videos? And I was like, okay, I'm not in the business of UGC videos. I do performance marketing, and if that performance demands UGC, leave it up to me. I will do it myself. I will do a partnership. It doesn't matter. Whatever your budgets are. The brand uses a word saying, how do I make sure you own business? So I said, only one metric. I will take a pie of that. So I made a model which is, I will produce creatives. I'll figure out whatever it is. But if my creatives beat your existing creative, for every CACs that gets reduced, multiplied by 30, I will take a pie of that. Okay? And the brand is like, no, we can't share that revenue. I'm like, you realize that I'm the only person in the industry who is telling you that my success is depending on the budgets I'm saving for you. My success is not on the basis of how much of revenue you are making. I'm taking a bigger bet. I'm like, no, take a flat fee. I was like, please
because
go.
you want to control the
But
pain.
most of
that's the
most,
thought process.
so this is something which I've tried over and over, and I don't see brands okay sharing that. I don't know what is.
What do you feel? Why? Is this mindset that you're outsiders? I feel.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, when I was an independent consultant, I'll tell you, I had more charging power only on my brand name.
Yeah.
I had the same brand. I was doing lesser work. Just the fact कि okay Sindhu आ रहा है, I had more power to command. मुझे चाय मिलती थी ऑफिस में, मैं जाता था, कॉफी मिलती थी. The moment I moved towards an agency model, I lose that power of.
So you know why that is? Because I think when you're an independent consultant, you are working with person in the system who has relatively very high power.
Yeah.
And now as an agency, you're working with people in the system who don't have power.
Correct. Fair.
Yeah.
So now as a function that they don't see you as the same, they see you as a vendor who works with my team versus a consultant who works with me.
Yeah.
I think that's the reality.
And the vendor mindset is the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's also because inherently there's less trust in the system within.
Yeah.
And as a function, everyone who's who works with those low trust environments will face the brunt of low trust decisions or outcomes.
I like the way you think trust.
Thanks.
The question comes back to trust all the time.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
No, our upliftment of money is a factor of trust only, nothing else. What will let me charge more? I learned the hard way. It's been 8 months for me in the agency world, and learned the hard way that my even if I do good work, that doesn't mean that I can charge more money. Learned the very, very hard way.
Yeah. Are you thinking to shut it down?
No. For not for sure. Building it in a very different way.
On camera.
Now.
On that note, right? What is the key to earning more? What is
trust? FaceTime. FaceTime, and who are you speaking with? Founders.
And how you are speaking? Founders.
Wishing New Year to a founder is the most important KPI, which is so undervalued. So undervalued. Even if you are working with a brand manager, I need founders back. And second, founder ka pedigree. So if the founder is a product backed person, I need to speak that language so that the founder gets a person. Sindhu ye company hai. I will try to hide my marketing agendas if I'm talking to a tech based founder. Underrated skills. An account manager cannot adapt these things. I'm yet to meet an account manager who can adapt to these things.
Like servicing wise.
Servicing wise. And servicing needs to change. Right now we are seeing that world na, ki performance marketers, part servicing are doing much better job than having a servicing person, 100%. Then talking to a performance. Kyunki पूछ लेगा कल का ROAS कितना था? And you don't have an answer, and the founder is like, okay, I don't know how to talk to you.
This is very interesting, right? I removed performance. I removed servicing from performance as a organizational hierarchy in 2018.
Oh, too early.
Yeah, because it didn't make sense because the client. So what I felt in 2018 was the clients who did performance were slightly ahead of the curve and were more curious and wanted to understand data and information, and they wanted it fast. And a servicing person still came from the old school of, I'll get back to you. And this I'll get back to you is very annoying for some of them.
Hate it.
So after a while, they would be like, listen, give me the number of your performance person. I'll speak to him directly. So eventually it became that. So then I said, okay, from 2018-19, I said, I will reverse our model and say we will train performance guys to be more servicing oriented rather than to do it the other way around.
Right.
So, and to be very honest, I think the only people who do really need servicing are creatives. They're the ones who really need a servicing partner.
Yeah, they for sure.
Because they want to be shielded and kept away from a lot of the unnecessary conversations and the things that they are not built for. So,
but the thing is, will the technical person think about like what you said, wishing Happy New Year?
No, they won't. I think that's the reality, right?
Won't.
And that's a huge thing too. So I think it's a blend that you need to do. Like funny enough, I'm not much of a New Year wishing person. For clients, I don't wish my own. Like the other day, my mom and sister were wishing Happy New Year to each other, and I was like, why?
Did you?
Right. So I think some people are different, and I think I, for example, don't do it. But I think it's inherently, it comes down to certain people. And I think personality traits that. But I think world is moving more towards the type who, like, if you don't wish Happy New Year, but if you get the results, they're happy. Right? I think it's also...
Really?
I think you have to understand what is that person's... see, you have to understand the brand manager's goal. Like, I think in today's day and age, everyone's looking to move in a year or 18 months. Right? No one wants to stay in a job.
Merit matters, but again...
No, I agree. I think it's a combination.
It's a
With
combination
some-
for sure, yeah.
With some, it's more merit. With some, it's more performance.
Yeah.
Correct.
But if you're an employee at a company, most often than not, you're moving in 2 years.
Yeah.
So you want those 8 quarters to be of performance and of upward trajectory, which you will use to first get a hike and then use that hike to get a better job. That's the reality, right? That's the like. If I was an employee, I would do the same. Honestly,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that's where the world is. So you have to be cognizant of that.
That's
And then
what
I think-
Vidhu did as well. Vidhu did as well.
What?
Yeah, Vidhu did that. First, he was an intern, and then once he got
Then
promoted, he's like, "I'm out." Anyway, I have some quick questions with which we can wrap up. The first one I have is, what are your
I want to ask something
please.
before, right? Yeah. How do you think content is gonna be consumed in 2 years, 3 years? Will we still be doing reels, or like, what do you think?
I think we'll do whatever at that time is current and what is more consumed in terms of demand. I think we will oversupply and kill it.
But what will that behavior look like? What are we doing in 2
Like a
years?
platform, like you're saying, will it be
sure.
like vertical
How will
videos?
I think we'll be faster with a lot of things. I feel sometimes, like, I know few people today who still don't purchase on mobile. For whatever reason, they will save the link, send it to them.
I do that,
right? Like, for example, he does.
I buy it on my desktop. The
Right?
big purchases.
Yeah, I think for example,
I don't know.
I think maybe he
that's
wants
my
a
millennial side.
No, I think he's
No.
Slow
I mean, I
adaptation.
use PhonePe not obviously for hella stuff, but if I'm buying flight tickets, I buy it on my laptop.
Well, you
I
probably-
send the link to my laptop and I do that.
Is
Yeah.
it because you don't trust your own judgment, or you want a second?
I just want to double check. Like it's bigger
exactly,
screen.
right?
I see the dates. Okay, cool.
So I
don't
think
know, it
this will
sounds
change.
stupid, but yeah.
My hunch is this behavior will change. I think people will go on the go. I still think people have UPI with OTP for PIN for every transaction.
Yeah.
Very few people have that limit where I think below a certain amount you can do it, right?
Yeah.
I think that will become more common. So I think we are going to evolve in that sense where things are going to be faster and easier. I think that's where I think the biggest shift will come.
What do you think about meta glasses or the human pin? How is content gonna evolve? How are we gonna interact with content in next?
I've been thinking about this for actually 5-6 years.
Yeah.
Honestly. So my measure is, will I use any of these devices or pieces of technology for minimum of say 20-30 minutes a day, or even forget
Yeah.
that, 10 minutes a day,
Yeah. That's a good idea.
right? I think that's the way it starts. If I do it for 10 minutes, then I'll do it for 15, 20, 1 hour, 2 hours a day can happen. So I think you have to get through the curve, which I don't know if today any of these devices are solving for. I'll give you an example. I don't think I would have worn a Whoop band maybe 4-5 years ago.
Yeah.
Now I wear it all the time.
Yeah.
Right? I even take a shower with it because
identity.
it works because
Yeah.
it's waterproof and technology also caught up.
Yeah.
So I think once we start consuming things little by little and then slowly it turns into a habit, then I think it would come through. But I do feel a little bit more open-minded to something like an Oculus today than I was 6 years ago.
Yeah.
I think I'm okay with the idea that maybe one day I'll sit in my balcony, wear it, and then I'll be looking at the streets of these these walkthrough videos you see, right?
Yeah.
Of games,
Yeah,
of,
yeah.
of,
Super
of
cool.
exploring a city like London, for example.
this and-
Whatever.
watch them.
Maybe not to maintain on the podcast. so
Don't cut this.
right? But you'd probably I think that is something I think I will start doing. So now I think tracing back to the thing about the VTubers, which I said, I think what the kids in Japan and Korea are doing are probably that they're ahead of us in the curve that way.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe slowly habits will start having new elements in it, which is maybe a virtual influencer or whatever that matter. But I think those kind of changes will come in content.
I'll tell you something interesting I read on Reddit where they were saying that when you think of content, you're thinking about somebody's creating, you're consuming it, right?
Yeah.
Why can't AI create content that they know you would like to consume?
Yeah. 100%.
So it's like, imagine like a TV is there. Today to TV, I have to go to the channel, what channel is showing, I'll watch. What if it's like, channel will create something which they know based on my data that Vidhu likes. Vidhu loves thrillers. I'll make a crazy thriller which Vidhu will love. And 10 on 10, I like it as well.
No, I think that's
Which is
what
not
OTT
crazy. Huh?
We do AI feed.
But
Yeah.
that's what OTT is doing in a lot of ways. But if you dig deeper into the business of OTTs and films in general, at least in Bollywood, you talk to anyone associated with films, they say the same thing, which is they have lost the plot a little bit because they're chasing formats and chasing data, saying that a actor did a great film in this genre, so we will create more of that. So and that's not working.
Yeah.
Right. So I think
That's again science
yeah.
only, yeah.
So like I don't know if you guys watched the show called Shogun, which won Emmy, and like it's crazy, right? I binged it over 3 days, 10 episodes, because I think 75% of the show is in Japanese, but it's about the British meeting the Japanese in the 16th century or whatever, about that time frame. It's great. Who would have thought that a Emmy-winning show would be 75% Japanese?
Yeah.
But it worked. So I think that surprise element of creativity, which we talk about, I think that is what is going to be the biggest driver. And then there'll be copycats. Right.
I think
Us.
this.
I wasn't pointing at you guys.
I think this is still like whatever we have been discussing till now is still India one.
Yeah.
I am very, very passionate about understanding India 2, India 3, India 4 patterns, and very, very carefully using those words, because tier 5, tier 6 has not yet come up to the main front.
For sure.
YT Shorts is a very different behavior than Instagram from an algorithm perspective. From a the transition effects that you see getting used there is very, very different than the transitions or the videos or the editing styles that you are noticing here. Walk into any YT Shorts ka meetup when your YouTube or Google team is doing. They will share data with you. Very, very fascinating data.
Okay.
What we are observing is there was, and I think one of the podcasts that we were shooting, I mentioned this, that I have noticed 2 shifts. Celebrities से influencers पे आया, influencers पे now we are moving towards specialized influencers. And India का real specialized influencer अभी forefront पे नहीं आया हुआ है. So for an example, a carpenter, a Hindi carpenter, a Bihari carpenter, a carpenter specialized in home decor, carpenter specialized in only drawers. You start watching those content, like for an example, we are working with Wakefit. During those times, we did a lot of vernacular influencer campaigns, and I noticed that there are creators who do nothing. They find out local furniture ke dukaan pe Shisham wood, who are the bestsellers. 2 million views, 4 million views.
Crazy,
And I'm like, where is this view coming from? Why this is not coming up on our feed? So our consumption is very, very different.
Yeah.
This will pick up. For sure, this will pick up. Second, OTT has not come up yet on Instagram Reels. Like no one is producing these 50-second episodic. I think it might come up in the next 5 years. Like nothing, if Instagram was switching on monetization, nothing stops a Tata Play or a Netflix to create Instagram specialized show and make money out of it. Like nothing stops them. They are doing it for YouTube on a long form. They will do it from here. And Instagram has been like every year they come up and say, we will switch it on,
But you still see mobile in 5 years.
We still see mobile. It is not going away. I'm not,
It's not going away.
It will definitely not go away.
Mobile 100% will go away.
Mobile will not. To what? AR glasses and all.
I feel
Wearable?
It'll be wearables,
watch.
yeah.
Sure, there are
But,
we are moving towards immersive.
I've been thinking about this a while. If my watch can do everything my phone can do, I'll let go of the phone. Because now I have AirPods, I'll wear them, I'll talk, I'll listen.
You have the glasses to talk and command, and
True.
you have a screen
But for
here.
that to happen,
Yeah.
the middle class needs to be very, very high in number. The tax needs to go down. And I don't know the luxury tax is applicable on the wearables or not. I don't know.
It should be.
I feel government will tax it under luxury because it is technically a luxury in
28%.
But I also feel
GST.
cost of goods will go down massively.
Yeah, the cogs will go down a lot.
the cogs.
It'll actually be cheaper with
Right.
time. Yeah.
So the day we see a 7,000 rupees Xiaomi making a glass and pushing it to the distribution network, not D2C, local distribution network.
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Then we might see some shift happening. Otherwise, VR has been like Meta changed the name. They have not gone up.
They
Very
were in the
simple
desert,
reason,
right?
right?
Maybe not in 3 years, 4 years, but
Maybe
like,
in 10 years, 15 years, maybe.
Yeah.
But
It's the
very weird. Like I bought Meta Oculus Quest. The servicing is not in India. The warranty is not covered in India.
Yeah.
And VR is existing since last 10, 15 years. Like they are not noticing the market here.
Yeah.
For sure. The market has not rise up. And they have now moved towards AR glass. So servicing is not happening for Quest.
This one, yeah.
तो मैं क्या कॉन्फिडेंस दिखा के अभी AR ग्लास लूँ सो
But I think since it'll be better consumption, it'll be like way more immersive, like you said. So it's kind of like today how they consider iPhone as like the best phone. To some degree, it'll slowly be like they'll have AR glasses that are better. Like you might just wear it and Google Maps in your glasses only when you drive. So the thing is, when that kind of features start coming out, then using a phone will be outdated very fast. Because it'd be like, I can
Very
get
weird.
way better.
If that was true, then Apple should not have stopped your.
Apple design.
Huh.
I think it's just on today. The thing is, today you're wearing like some, I don't know how much kg that thing is, and there's a wire also to wear in your pocket.
Yeah, it's
so
not.
Functionally, it's not
Functionally,
there.
it's not there.
Apple lacks vision right now.
Wow. Apple Vision lacks vision.
Apple lacks vision. Apple is not innovating fast. Yeah.
But I think fundamentals are in right place. I'll give you an example, right? He spoke about Facebook Meta, right?
Yeah.
Which is not servicing a product that they sold to you for a market here.
Yeah.
It's not surprising that Meta is not servicing you. How many of our ad accounts get blocked for no reason?
Correct. They're
It's
still
in
not
their-
solving it.
It's in their DNA to not. It's in their DNA rather the trait which we experience on the dashboard.
So they're a product heavy company,
Yeah, it
tech heavy
is.
company, not a servicing heavy company.
Not, right? Apple is always thinking of the customer at the heart of everything else. So they may not be innovating, but what they're providing as a delight is so strong that you're still hooked to that brand and very difficult for you to move away from it. A bit like Amazon, right?
Do you
But
love
it might
Apple
change.
as much as you used to love Apple 5 years ago?
That's a very.
I love my Apple as much as I love.
Yeah. So the
my
love
Apple.
of the brand is going down.
I don't know. I think maybe because Jobs is not there and that effect is wearing off year after year for sure. I think if he was there by now, we all might have been doing this virtually somewhere sitting with an Oculus, maybe, right?
I mean, innovation went down.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's the
Probably.
main thing. Yeah.
But
That's
I-
what Apple was known for.
Yeah. But I
Breakthrough
also
is not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like every product they have is basically just like a Me Too with a slightly like small.
But tell me that.
5% better.
Tell me this, right? This from let's take 2011 because that's when he passed away. From then until now, what truly has revolutionized the world?
AirPods technically
Yeah.
from there.
Yeah, right. That's it.
That's the best product
But
they launched.
I'm saying leave Apple out. I'm saying look at all brands.
GPT.
GPT, yeah.
Right? Software more, I would
Yeah.
say at this point in time. But yeah.
Yeah.
Right? But apart from that, how much has come? I think Tesla to a large extent because
Yeah.
I think they're making it cool
SpaceX.
to SpaceX for sure. What Elon is doing probably. Even X, Twitter.
Yeah.
That's also-
They change the politics.
exactly, right?
But that's same true for everything. That's true for social networking apps.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
what has been changing? And
Yeah. So I don't think that we often say because I think we have held them at a high benchmark for innovation and then that's not visible in the last maybe decade or more. And then as a result, we're
Tim
saying
Cook
that.
himself says that they are not company which comes with a new product. They come with a perfect product.
Fair.
When Steve Jobs was there, he would think about future and come up with new products
products,
which need.
No, but
They
that's not.
created categories which
But there is
never
a difference
existed.
there.
No, but
He
I
was
don't
solving
agree.
for 0 to 1.
Yeah.
Right now, Tim Cook is solving for 1 to 100.
Yeah.
But
100%.
I actually don't agree with that. I'll tell you why. The iPod is a perfected version of a Walkman,
Correct.
right? iPad and iPhone is a perfected version of something called the Newton, which Apple themselves launched in early 90s and failed at it. Which is basically a phone with a stylus. And there's a famous Steve Jobs quote where he kills it on the day one that he joins back or something, and they ask why. He says, "Why do you need a stylus when God gave you 5?" It's a very great quote of his, right? But they eventually bought back the stylus, which is another thing for the iPad,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? They called it
Pencil.
yeah.
So they did it. So a lot of those things that he did also were, of course, they changed the category because I think adoption was there and then it changed user behavior. But a lot of that is also perfecting that. And he talks about the iPhone. The iPhone was an accident because he was trying to perfect the iPad and then suddenly he got a thought saying, what if I just put all of that into a phone? And that's when the iPhone happened.
Sure.
So I feel that what he said is true. I think they do perfect products and they're not necessarily always innovating. See, they tried to do the car, which failed. That's the inside story, right?
Well, like the question Steve Jobs would ask is why there is a screen on a health band, and that's how Whoop comes, right?
Probably,
those
yeah.
are the right questions which he would ask himself and come up with random fucking ideas which will become massive.
But Whoop is now coming with a screen. The next Whoop 5 has a screen. That's
You need
the,
a screen for this.
Yeah, no, you
don't need
the
a screen.
phone.
There's
But
just a
honestly, the phone will help you. But there's a lot of things that a screen could make this.
But why
efficient.
would you buy a Whoop if you have an Apple Watch? Like, what is the difference?
More
Someone
accurate.
asked me yesterday. No,
More
I think
accurate. Like, how much
No, I
accuracy?
think no. Heart rate in an Apple is better. For example, Apple has a screen, so ECG is the best
Yeah.
because you see it.
Yeah.
On a Whoop, your ECG goes to the server and comes back. So there's a second or half a second, 2 seconds
Delay, yeah.
So if you sync the two, which I have done, your heart rate is fucking crazy. Like it doesn't make any sense. Which is where my heart rates are today. If you record it, it doesn't make any sense. But I think the reason you do it is like I'm still in that first year of testing.
Oh, so
That's the
novelty
reason.
is.
Yeah. But I've slowly now started to not use Apple Watch if I'm not working. So reason I use a watch is because it syncs with my email, with my notifications, with my calls, and it helps me. But if I'm at home, I wouldn't wear it. And I can't wear this while I'm sleeping because it's too heavy and too big.
Uncomfortable.
And hence,
I mean, that's why Whoop should not have a screen. It's meant to be 24/7 band. That's part of the whole thesis, right?
But I think the problem is actually not of. So if you look at the older versions of Apple Watch, they were actually smaller, slimmer, better.
Yeah.
The bigger and more processing power it has,
Of course, it got
it's a
big.
problem.
Yeah.
So I think that's the.
But I mean, Apple
sweet
Watch
spot.
is a smart watch. Whoop is a fitness tracker.
Yeah,
That's
This
the
looks
difference.
like a bracelet, so you
It
can
is.
wear a watch and a bracelet. But if you
Yeah,
put a
yeah.
phone,
Yeah,
then you will
that's the
shift with
vibes,
this
yeah.
hand.
Yeah,
That's the way.
You're
to
also
do it.
wearing a Whoop?
Yeah.
I think I got him into it.
There's what, 40K or what?
No, Whoop is
25.
no.
Oh, yeah.
So I got it when it was not available in India, so it was cheaper.
Oh.
Now it's available in India,
And the
so
warranty
it's
is covered in
expensive.
India?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a yearly subscription.
It's 1,000
That's also an interesting.
So
This
model.
is a yearly subscription.
Yeah.
So
So like an Apple Watch Ultra is maybe 80K.
Huh.
yeah,
I'm assuming that price range. Yeah. So Whoop is 25K a year, but
So very costly then.
Whoop is for me it was 17
For us
because
cheaper,
I
yeah.
pay 1,500 a month.
But still, you
subscription.
keep on paying per year.
Yeah, per month 1,500, but you pay annually.
So you don't own the product. You are owning until you are paying.
Yeah,
Right, it's a subscription.
yeah, it's a subscription basically.
Very costly.
yeah, they cracked it, but
Really? I mean, Whoop's sentiment is very negative now.
in terms of
Like, will you renew it next year?
probably.
Yeah, Whoop. Yeah. It's
So
not a
I'll tell you
heaviness.
why. I can afford it,
Yeah.
and B, it keeps me accountable because I lack discipline. Reality.
How is it?
For example, I make it a point if today I wake up and my recovery has not been great, I make it a point to go to hit the bed by a certain time.
Yeah.
I turn the lights off.
But it is not telling you to do that.
It's not telling me, but it is like if you go through the material
It is,
that
yeah,
it
yeah.
has,
You see data, dude.
the education material.
But
it's a
It visualizes
performance-
data. Yeah, it visualizes
But
data
you need to
and
be
give you that
like,
story.
you need to be very serious about your health to go
Correct.
log into the phone, open it, and then do
I
it.
think, dude, it's
No, but
gamified.
if you aren't,
It's a game, yeah.
if you aren't, then you probably won't get it. Like you won't get the device. Like yesterday, see, for example, my recovery is at 46%.
Damn.
Yeah, so if I have to improve that, then I probably need. So the day before was better.
I'll tell you the thing. Whoop is the first app I open in the morning.
Yeah, same here.
As soon as I sleep and I wake up, first I'm like, fuck, how's my Whoop data? And I
Yeah.
want to check how the sleep was and everything. Yeah.
And you start getting geeky with smaller things. So that's the thing, right? Again, data helps you and you optimize for it.
Yeah.
See, if you know that eating a meal and having at least a 3-hour window between you falling asleep and eating a meal is good for you, invariably somewhere you'll try to incorporate that into your habits. So I think that's where it helps.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's innovation is where they lack also.
Having said that, it's my dinner time.
Yeah, so we have I think gone last 40 minutes to all parts of the world, but it's great. I think it's still revolving around business and marketing.
AI is important
I have-
discussion.
I have a quick question to ask, which is on coming back. We spoke about a lot of things, starting with UGC, then to AI, to what future going to be is going to look like. Is there an Indian brand that you see today that you would bet on, saying that through all of these innovations and hurdles and challenges, that they're going to survive, and this is the brand to look for? An Indian brand.
From a marketing perspective.
Yeah, marketing business that they're going to scale and they're going to adopt everything that's new and still stay true to what they are and going to succeed. They could pivot tomorrow. I'm not saying that they won't, but in its today's current form that you think has great future.
Zomato for sure.
Zomato.
Why?
I mean, in the age of growth, they build the brand. And brand, the good thing about brands is it has some legacy to it, some time to it. Brand doesn't die immediately. So I think people will still look up to that brand to do things. Even if they fall behind in innovation, they'll still adopt if they come up with something late. Like similar case with Apple. Even if they come up with the product late, people still go for the brand value. So I think Zomato for sure.
Fair. Vidhu?
Honestly, no name comes to mind. I mean, like I would say Apple ideally, but even now I feel like Apple's been slacking.
Indian
like we
brand.
discussed.
Indian brand.
Indian Apple, yeah.
He
Yeah,
knows,
Apple
he
is-
knows no Indian brands other than the ones he works with.
Ultra human.
Freedom, yeah. Ultra human.
Indian Apple.
I honestly have no idea.
Okay.
Not Fredo? You don't think Fredo?
I mean, they'll do well. I mean,
Controversial thing.
Good question. I love it. Put him on spot.
they're the client.
Not
What
Vidhu.
happened? Fredo will do amazing.
What do you think about Ganesh?
At this point of the video, it's all zoom into
It's all zooming. Okay.
soap opera
I
style.
think Fredo will kill it. Fredo will dominate everybody.
Yeah, the new ruler of the world.
Client is number one.
Zomato, I agree. I think Amul, I was very.
Okay, I will come. Okay, I will put a spanner in your answers, which is it can't be an IPO listed company.
It can't be.
It can be a listed company. Public
It can't be a listed company.
So both of you have to change your answer.
Yeah,
for it.
Akshay Kalpa will be a great brand. I think the story of the brand is great and
The story is interesting.
it self grows. It's not. I never saw
But
that.
every farm, like Privalak or I forgot the name, every farm you look, Sarda Farms, everyone has a similar
Similar story. Two
Similar
brothers
story.
also.
Everyone has a similar
So
story.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the brand is true stories, I guess. And I know Akshay Kalpa as one of the brands, which probably I heard from Balu for the first time because you guys were pitching, and that's how I built a brand in my head.
I mean, Whole Truth is also there, always.
That was going to be my answer.
Yeah,
Whole
I've
Truth.
stolen it.
Yeah.
I mean, they build good brand, good good reputation, everything as well.
Yeah.
No, I don't take whole truth as a signal. My signals are very, very simple. If you're building an FMCG at a price point of 120, the marketing that they are playing is still a Bangalore centric, tier one centric
yeah.
marketing. It gives you how much will be they able to, like in FMCG, the problem with FMCG is unless and until you are available at every departmental stores.
Distribution, yeah.
Distribution is the main game. It's but they have been building it like a D2C. They are playing the similar game in that short. So I don't know. I'm not very confident, and they are very focused around protein. The problem with that protein is you are positioning yourself as a fitness brand. The next venture of yours will not to become an FMCG. The next venture will be to launch a whey protein, which they did. I was thinking they will not do that. I was thinking they will go the FMCG route. But the moment now you do that, now you're fighting with the ons of the world, your MyProteins of the world, because your MyProtein also has a bar. But the way that is built is very different. That aspiration is bodybuilding.
Yeah.
This aspiration is everyday office goer. So I'm not able to honestly great guy Shashank, but I'm not able to still have that perception in my head कि मैं क्यों लूँ.
Okay.
I
I mean, I think it's cleaner.
Huh?
I think that's the main thing. It's cleaner ingredients for everything.
Yeah, I think also today's fitness
Do you
revolution
consume?
is that you don't need to be
Whey protein.
bulky
and all. Yeah,
the
yeah,
typical
yeah.
Here and there,
Could be.
The bars are not.
But everywhere the positioning is clean and light and all.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I will take Zerodha is not listed, right?
No.
I will take Zerodha not for what Zero. I do not agree Zerodha has done zero cost marketing. It's just a gimmick, random. Affiliate marketing comes under marketing, simple. You can't say performance नहीं किया है तो it's zero cost marketing.
yeah.
That is random just to get PR. The investments that they have been doing in last 1 year in content.
Yeah.
They are playing the MCN category, which is multi-channel network. Doing a collaboration with ThinkSchool, launching a new channel. In the same time frame, acquiring multiple channels, investing in content, investing in a 1% club, Zerodha Varsity becoming a video channel. No one is playing this game in the fintech. Fintech ko chodo, no one is doing MCN in any other world.
True.
So that is that is coming from two traders and stockbrokers is massive. Like founders who are not marketing people, like Shashank is a marketing guy.
Yeah.
It is obvious for him to play the brand game.
Yeah, they'll control the money of the country. They
won't
they were able to bring most of the biggest startups in one room, right? And now you have one-to-one connect with Book My Show CEO with like all the money and all, right? And they are the people who will control their money now. So
They are adapting ultra fast, like super fast. They are adapting
cool.
super
They
fast.
are insane, and they're investing haywire on distribution.
So they were behind, and I was thinking, okay, when 12th is taking up, they suddenly in last 1.5 years, all in into content. I heard the 01 Fest was a very new thing for me. So
Wealth is funded by Zerodha.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
They sit in same office.
Interesting. They did a 01 Fest, na? So they are now. I heard from 3 people in my network that they have reached out to them to build event properties. So they are on a rental franchisee model right now.
Yeah.
They are coming to you and telling you, hey, you build a property, we'll fund you.
Yeah.
No, makes sense because I think they also acquired Under 25, which
Yeah.
is acquired by I think
Collective Artists
Collective,
Network.
yeah.
Collective Artists Network, and I think they have a partnership and they have a new firm, so it makes sense.
Zerodha under Collective Artists Network formed a collective called Gruhas. Gruhas is a fund जिसके under WTF comes, and that gets funded by all
sense.
the content.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
That's how you do things.
That's how you do it.
Any closing thoughts?
AI will take over. That's it.
Well, not before me.
Right.
Likewise is
Yeah,
what
I think this one, but no, this is a separate segment we'll do as a separate video, which is one great UGC ad that you guys have seen.
Oh wow, shit.
And I'll start, and I think mine would be the Sleepy Owl one that I referenced.
Which one?
The Sleepy Owl one, the knocking on
Ah,
the.
okay.
Right? It may not be the
That's
today's
not,
UGC, but it's
UGC,
more
but
performance.
yeah.
Right? Yeah, that would be mine. That's the most memorable, I would say. There's one.
Memorable. The logic of UGC is that you will not be able to remember.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because
It's
you
not meant to be
see so
remembered.
many of them.
Okay, let's open it up and say one great performance piece of content
Yeah.
you saw.
I think in last decade I absolutely love Squatty Potty ads.
Who?
Squatty Potty
I have not.
by Aman.
Send me, no? Send me on
Yeah, I'll
WhatsApp.
send you.
So this is done by Harman Brothers.
Harman Brothers.
This
Okay.
agency. They're like really good, yeah. But that's like YouTube, like it's
a
a TVC technically.
So they build brand and performance together.
yeah.
Which is insane.
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So they're not Indian though. That's the only difference.
That's fine.
But very-
What is yours? You can't say your stuff.
I have to say freedom again. I'm kidding.
The ads read
Everything I
Last decade.
everything I make is was.
Everything I make. And I think if you look at good UGC, like again, most of them is abroad, dude. I think brands abroad like get it way better. Like Manscaped does great ads abroad. I don't know if you guys have seen, like they add good element of like humor along with their ads also. Like say they sponsor the UFC, they tie that into ads so well.
Yeah.
Like they do a lot of stuff like that. Like you mentioned, like Dr. Squatch is another brand. If you guys have not heard of it, like they're a brand who basically sells like the soaps which have like flavored. It's targeting men. Now men fundamentally don't care about like, we use same thing for your, like body wash, shampoo. That's the meme, right? But they just made this entire thing about how skincare is so sexy and use this soap, you'll get girls and all that stuff. So they do like a killer job, yeah. So honestly, we get an inspo from brands like that over there. But yeah.
You are so ready to go abroad and set up an agency.
Oh yeah.
We are already, we're starting now slowly here and there.
Cool. Great. On that note, thank you guys for coming and doing this.
Awesome.
Hopefully
Good chat,
we'll
good
make
chat.
time and do more of these in the coming months.
Yes. Yes.